Wait, I thought you said you were tired.
I am tired. Do I
Oh.
look tired?
Okay. Well, I asked Celeste if she'd be willing to be the third wheel. So if you're too tired,
Do I look tired? Do I look sick?
only from your chin down.
My chin looks tired.
Only from here up, you look tired.
Yeah, from here up, you look tired. Everything else looks fine.
Yeah.
Good. I tried.
You got the Rona?
I'm pretty sure.
Everybody has the Rona.
My babysitter texted me
The other
today
day.
and said she tested positive. And then
Well-
I've been sick since Thursday night.
Oh, you poor thing. Get some rest. Drink less.
Celeste had it.
You what?
Celeste had it.
How was it?
She said it made her just really tired for about a week.
I basically slept all day on Friday.
Why is Deborah Duskin trying to call me on?
Deborah Dushku? I don't know. Answer.
Join my room. Why is she wanting to? Why do I have a room?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Neither.
You have like a Facebook room or something?
No, like a Facebook Messenger room. I don't know why I have a room. I don't want a room.
Is that where everybody's logging into?
That's where everybody goes to, and they like call me at random times. Now I can't close it.
Leave it.
I don't understand.
Didn't you send out that link though? That's why people are hopping on there.
Decline. It's not letting me decline. I don't even know what's going on right now. Why did it shut down?
Well, how many people are here on Zoom? Just us?
I don't know.
How difficult is it to just click on a link?
Decline already.
I think it depends on what link he gives out.
Everett, I'm gonna make you the host because I'm having technical difficulties. I don't see.
Okay. Okay, hold on a second. I'm getting some text too from people trying to log in.
Okay, what do I need to do? Close that out? No, that didn't work. Go here, quit. Aha! Voila. Gracious.
So you close down the room. Is that going to confuse everybody?
No,
Are they going to think like there's a problem?
I don't know what's going on with that room. I cannot find this elusive room that everybody else is in. Everett, I need you to make me the host again.
Oh, okay. Hang on a second. Make host. Yes. Okay.
What is going on? It like completely shut down. There you are. Okay, good. Gallery view, good. We are still recording. Awesome. Okay. We go here. Facebook. Hi, Celeste.
Hello.
How are
How's it
you?
going?
How are you? Good. Doing good.
Kassie said that she's on her way.
How does it keep setting up this room? I'm totally confused. What's going on?
I don't understand what you're talking about. What's your problem?
Instead of like a Zoom link, everybody somehow gets into these Facebook rooms.
No.
What's going on?
Nick sent out an invite to the Facebook room. He invited everybody to the
Everybody.
room.
Everybody.
So it takes you to the room.
It had nothing to do with Flameless Fireside.
It's a room that you invited people to.
It's
So they're going to show up.
Apparently, I went out on like a 6 mile walk. My phone started like doing something on my shoulder, and then
Kind of like when you put that group together and you called me in Walmart, like your butt does a lot of group dialing.
Right. And it was actually in my pocket, so my butt had nothing to do with it. But you know what I'm talking about. Hi, Christina.
Hi there. How's everyone?
Good.
So I guess people are trying to log into Zoom and they're having a hard time with it. I don't
Why are
understand.
people having a hard time logging into Zoom? It's right there. Zoom.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All I
It's
know is this new chair that I bought, I think it's falling apart. There's like a screw that's coming out on the handle here.
like
Makes me look really short anyways, apparently, I've been told. So
what is it? That Office guy, the Office, the Office. That's what it is. The Office has that guy that's from Pakistan or Turkey, and he's like, why does everybody have a hard time with my name? It's Nagadavindi. It sounds exactly like it sounds. Nagadavindi. What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Why is it so
And
hard?
like, is that on The Office?
Zoom.
I don't even remember that person on The Office.
Oh my goodness. There was the white guy, there was the black guy, and no, there were two white guys.
On
And
The Office?
Brown, yeah, no, not the
There's
Office.
a lot of white guys
Okay.
on The Office.
Yeah, not on The Office. Yeah, you're
Office
talking a different
Space?
show.
The movie Office Space.
Office Space.
Oh,
Yeah.
Office Space is
With the stapler guy in the basement.
Yeah, no, not the stapler guy. It's the brown guy.
I've never seen that.
Like that.
Oh wait, something Whitney hasn't seen. Shocker. By the way, Whitney's got the Rona, or she thinks she does. She's sick.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
My
I've been
babysitter
there.
tested positive today. I've been sick since Thursday, so I'm pretty sure.
You have the chills.
Yeah, I've been really cold. I have like a huge weighted blanket on me now
Oh,
and this big scarf.
So
One of Jen's friends got the Rona. 3 days later, she was dead.
Why
Wait,
would you
really?
say that right now?
you said, yeah, I know.
That's
Why?
not probably
Why?
what, not what you want to say.
Why are you being? What are you doing?
Wait,
Why?
is it real? Is it real that she's dead?
I didn't send you the link. Why is your hair not curly?
I didn't have time.
That's fine. All right, let me send you the link. I didn't send her the link. Stop it, Whitney.
I'm a little bit offended you didn't invite me to the secret room.
Ooh.
Don't you invite me to everything?
I got nothing.
Ooh.
Oh, we're best friends.
I'm privileged enough to be a part of the secret room.
Oh, thank
I
you.
Two
wasn't.
times. 2 secret rooms.
Nick only invites girls to the secret room.
True, they were all girls.
It's like
That's true.
it's his creepy room. Secret room.
That's why I didn't get invited.
You've already
Oh,
been there
Nick.
before.
Secret stuff. I have seen a lot more of Nick than I ever cared to, so that's true.
Everybody gets to see Nick.
Yep.
Okay, so we come here. All right, you know,
Okay.
edit this. Get out of that. We edit this. Edit post. Enter. Paste.
So I was telling Whitney that you had the Rona, Celeste.
I
Yeah,
did.
how was it?
I was just exhausted. I lost my voice for like 3 days.
Oh
And
no.
then I got really, really tired and my lights are strobe lights. That was it. I didn't have a fever. I didn't get sick. I was just extremely exhausted. Like I slept all day for like ever. And
I basically slept all day
I
on
still
Friday.
have it. I still have these bouts of, I call it a COVID fog, where I just, all of a sudden, I'm just so tired. And I've actually been battling it the last couple of days. My brother-in-law has narcolepsy, so he gave me one of his pills today, so I'm a little bit better now. But like it'll just hit me, and it's been over a month since I've had it, and I still get tired.
Your brother-in-law
Wow.
has what's the medication he takes for his narcolepsy? Might have to get a little bit of that.
I don't know, but it's good stuff. I just took a half of one, and I was like, I'm wide awake now. So my eyes still hurt. I can still feel the pressure behind my eyes because it's like this eye head fog thing, but
Yeah,
I'm
my eyes
alert.
are sore. Thursday,
Yes.
I started getting a little bit of like a sore throat, and then my eyes were hurting, and I just got really tired.
Mhm.
Friday, I
Yeah.
basically slept all day. Like I woke up, I texted someone to take my kids to school, went back to sleep. I woke up and worked for like an hour. And I texted my boss. I was like, do you need anything else from me? Because I can't keep my eyes open. I went back to sleep until like dinner time. My daughter made dinner, luckily. So So I basically
Aw.
just slept all day on Friday.
So have
Saturday,
you been
yesterday, I
tested?
actually was feeling a little better. No, I haven't yet. I figured I'd go tomorrow morning. I'll probably make my kids get tested too.
Yeah.
Are you guys
I
taking any
didn't
meds, like over-the-counter meds, or
take
just
zinc
rest?
and vitamin C,
Okay.
and those are the two, like, they were like, definitely take those. So zinc and vitamin C. And then I was taking Sudafed because I kind of had like a little bit of like maybe allergy kind of sinus, it felt.
Mhm.
Nothing that bothered me, but I did not feel sick like whatsoever. In fact, I got it on like a Wednesday when I first started feeling tired. I was out dancing at a thing on Friday night, went out to lunch on Saturday with my friends, and on the way home from lunch, I started falling asleep while I was driving. And so my sister
always
texted me
fun.
that evening and she's like, I have COVID, so maybe that's what you've got. And I'm like, oh, dang, that's probably why I'm tired, like really tired. My eyes hurt so bad. So I got tested the next day. So I had it a long time without even realizing it.
I actually felt better yesterday and even today until maybe like 3 or 4 hours ago. And all of a sudden I was just like, oh my gosh,
Yep.
I
Yep.
need to fall asleep right
And
now.
it doesn't go away. Like I haven't had the tiredness for probably a week or two. And just like the day before yesterday, it hit me, and I had it hit me again yesterday, and it hit me again today. So it's out of nowhere, it started coming back. So I don't know what the deal is.
So my babysitter, because she tested positive today, she said she didn't have any symptoms, but they went to Boise yesterday and they were walking around at the mall and they walked by Bath and Body Works, and her husband was like, oh my gosh, that smells so good. And she was like, I don't smell anything. And that's how she knew, because she could not
No.
smell Bath and Body Works.
Oh
Ah,
Before that, she
no.
didn't
Yeah.
smell at all.
yeah, I
Oh,
didn't lose
no.
my taste. I could smell. I was fine. Literally, I was fine. I was just tired.
I can
So I
still
lucked
taste
out.
things, and I kind of am upset about that. Because I'm like, if I'm going to get sick, then I would like to not have to eat anything so I can lose a bunch of weight. Like that's the only
That was-
perk of being sick.
I know. My
What a
sister's like,
waste.
I can't even eat. And I'm like, I'm eating like a horse. I'm either up eating or I'm sleeping. Like I'm door dashing and sleeping and door dashing and sleeping.
You see
Yeah.
the TikTok
Oh.
with the guy that has coronavirus? He pulled out a bunch of stuff from his refrigerator. He's like, all right, I can't taste anything. And just to prove it, and he takes like a whole spoonful of garlic and he eats it. And then he like take like lemon things and he squeezes it in his mouth. And then like he just eats all of the stuff. And he's like, and here's some really spicy stuff. And yeah, he's just eating.
He's like, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
flaming diarrhea, but I couldn't taste any of it.
and here's an onion and he like bites into it and starts eating it. And,
My
Oh,
friend
nope.
has it, and she
no.
said everything just tastes like cardboard. Like it's not fun to eat.
Everything
Everything just is
tasted
it's like eating
fabulous to
cardboard.
me. I was eating everything. It was
I don't think
wonderful.
everybody gets the taste.
Yeah, I need that symptom.
I would get
Like
very
drop 20 pounds by not eating food.
I would get very adventurous with my eating habits if I had the COVID.
I wouldn't. It's all going to taste the same. Why?
Well, that
Unless you have it like me and you can still taste everything, then you don't want to get adventurous because you want to eat what you like, you know?
I
You want
Cassie
to eat something with texture instead of taste.
texture.
They had
If
somebody
you can't taste,
this last week that tested positive in one nostril and negative in the other. And they're like, I don't think our tests are very accurate.
oh my gosh. That's
Just
funny.
half of me has COVID.
Right. I've got COVID on this half on Tuesdays, Wednesday, and Thursday, this side.
So do you
It's-
only have to wear half a mask?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That is true.
I was
That
at a
is
clinic
Sorry
this
you're
last
sick
week.
though.
Why does the mask have to be over the nose? What is up with
Because
that?
you breathe out through your
Breathe
nose.
out
You
your
get
nose.
respirations come out your nose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spreading
I
COVID
guess
to
people breathe
everybody.
through their nose. Why doesn't it cover your ears too? Like, it's the breath, airflow.
What?
I was at a clinic this last week and they were talking about how, like I was talking to the doctors in there and the MAs, and they were saying that they had a friend that went in, they waited in line for the COVID testing, and they're like, it was supposed to be one of these things where you can kind of pop in and just get tested pretty quick. And they said after an hour and a half of waiting, they're just like, forget it, I'm out of here. And so the next day, they just never took the test. The next day, this was in
Result.
Montana. Yeah. They called them and said, like, you've tested positive, you need to go into quarantine. And he's like,
I've heard
You
that
didn't
happen
take
to
the
a few
test.
people.
what?
Oh
I've
my
heard that happen
gosh.
to a few people. Like a couple of people I know that said the same thing happened to them.
It's not an isolated event. No.
I think it's highly political. That's
Oh.
my guess.
I agree.
Well, all of my kids tested negative, so that's good. I didn't give it to anybody.
Hey, we are at
That's good.
10:15. It is time to get started.
Okay.
So
Okay.
So,
well,
Nick,
listen,
It looks as if
Celeste,
you
if
said
you're
you have
good, then
3.
do you want to take over for me? Because I
Oh
might
yeah,
fall asleep.
absolutely. Yep, I'll do it.
I'll listen, but there's a good chance I would fall asleep partway through. So
Okay.
just in case.
All right.
Cassie looks really nervous.
Probably will.
No, my
If I
daughter. I gave water to Elizabeth for you. I told them to stay in their cages, and they're not doing that. So can't come out. I also sent a cheeseburger up for you. She didn't eat her dinner, so I was like, "Take our dinner up." So I don't normally throw cheeseburgers upstairs towards my children, but whatever.
yeah, so we're gonna take everybody and throw them into the audience.
You can make an audience in Zoom.
Yeah, Christina, I can either throw you in the audience or you can go ahead and throw yourself in the audience.
I don't even know how to do it, but I will, I don't know, stop my video.
Left-hand corner is
There we go.
just like that.
Oh.
Well done.
So then, do I change my view or?
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you want to change a view to anything, you can change it from this angle to this angle.
Oh, like.
Yeah. Now, if I can just see up the left nostril a little bit more, that'd be great. Okay. Let me go ahead and we're going to get this started off just like we normally do with all of our podcasts. We are going to be talking about a variety of different topics. We just need to know if there are any boundaries that we should not be hitting. Any areas that are a little bit too sensitive. Kind of like when
You know me at all.
I have to ask.
I don't want to talk politics. That for sure. I don't want to.
Everett,
Well, that concludes this podcast for tonight. Thanks for being on.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Do you normally do that, actually? Okay, let's.
We talk about anything that's happening right now. So
I mean, I find, I don't know, I'm tired of the conversation a little bit. I'm just saying. So
we probably won't get into it much, but we may a little.
Okay, guys, I just want to spread love, and that's really not usually my MO. But
You know, it's funny because all of the drag queens in Portland just want to spread love too. It's just funny how that works. So
I mean, they do spread. To be fair, have you ever been to a drag show? Have you ever been to a drag show?
No, I kind of live in a drag show.
I have not.
In Portland, so
They're super fun.
I've had the opportunity. I don't know what it is. Like all the girls are always like, "Oh my goodness, drag shows are so fun. You should come, Charlie." No,
they're really fun. Like it's just like.
You know why they're fun for girls? Because the guys that are doing the drag show have no interest in them. For the guys, you're like, this is freaking me out. The girls are like, hey, I feel right at home here because none of these guys are interested in me.
Yeah, you're just like, we let loose, like nobody, I don't know. They're really fun. Very fun.
Yeah, and we get on guard. We're like, yep. Yeah. Not a pleasant place to be.
Okay, so with that information, I will go ahead and get started. And we're gonna do this introduction the right way.
Okay.
This is the way that we are going to do it from now on. That way we can have continuity. Okay. Welcome to the Flameless Fireside Podcast. Tonight we've got Kassie Call with us. It is November 22nd, and Kassie is a close personal friend of mine. I've known her for almost about like 6 or 7 months now.
I think it's longer, but ouch.
Is it longer? Okay.
I think the start of like COVID is when we met.
It was.
So how long has this been going on? I don't know. I lost count. Does anybody know how long? Like
about March is when they started locking everything down.
March 1st. March 1st is when COVID really got onto the lockdown.
So that was 6 years ago?
Feels like it.
How it feels.
Yeah.
No, it does feel that way. I got involved with a virtual group that was doing a singles conference, and they reached out. I don't know how I got involved with it, but they reached out to me, and they're like, they asked me if I could take over one of their games for the game breakout rooms. And I was like, yeah, sounds great. So we had the conference, had the breakout rooms. I was hosting Mafia, had a bunch of people coming in and out, and two people that I was like, oh, well, that person, there's something different about them. There's a little kindred spirit, and Kassie was one of them.
We're the same kind of crazy.
There it is.
Awesome.
So, Kassie, tell for the people that don't know you, tell us who you are, where you're from, what's your relationship with the church? What's your relationship with? Let's start with that.
Okay, who am I? I'm Kassie, obviously. I'm 38, and I currently live in San Antonio. And where am I from is such a loaded question. I've kind of lived all over. I was born in Kansas City, the Missouri side, which is the better side. And but then when I was pretty little, we moved up to Alaska, and I lived there till I was 10. Then we moved to Texas, where I graduated high school, and then I moved to Ohio for college, part one. And then that's why I met my ex-husband, and he was in the Air Force. So then I kind of have lived all over, because then it was like California, Arizona, Florida. So I have I'm homeless, kind of. I kind of feel like a vagabond a little bit. So, but Ohio is kind of home, maybe Texas, but I'm not really a Texan. I don't know. But
Texas is awesome. Just saying.
It's okay. It's okay.
I love it here.
Oh,
I love it. You're gonna have
man.
fighting words. Just joking.
Bias on that?
I might get evicted for saying that out loud. That
You will. You will.
I probably will, but it's okay. I'm okay with this. No, I don't like country music. I'm just not a Texan.
Oh, no Texas and no country music.
And I really don't
Wow.
use y'all. I'm not a Texan.
Wow. Well, I will say that everybody in this room today has something to do with Texas. Everett, what did you lived in Texas? Yes.
I was born in Texas. All my family's from Texas.
There we go.
We are
What part?
generational Texans. Yes. Although right now I live in crazy hippie land, but that's okay.
Okay. And then Celeste, where do you live now?
Dallas area.
Dallas.
Okay.
Very good. And I served my mission in Houston, Texas. So I was there for 2 years. Everybody here kind of got a little Texas blood in them.
Cassie's like,
Not so much.
I mean,
I lived in Houston too for a while. I loved Houston.
Houston's awesome.
Yeah, it is. I loved it there.
Yeah. It is like a big bowl when you really think about it. And if you look at it from an aerial view, it looks like a big target. Like each of the highways get all the way down to downtown Houston.
yeah.
There's actually a story that I heard about where it rained a whole bunch, and all of the rain funneled off and went into downtown. And so they told everybody to get out. Well, there was a guy that was in one of the buildings that was like, okay, I'm gonna go out. So he goes down to the garage to get to his car. And when the doors opened, the waters came in and
Oh man.
That set off.
That's sad.
Water can do that.
you're done.
The other New Orleans.
Yeah, right.
So
So-
what is it that you don't like about Texas then? How can you not like Texas aside from the heat?
Okay, I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said it's okay. But you see,
Well,
you
in
are
San
Texan
Antonio.
because automatically you're offended.
Oh, I'm not offended. I'm hyper offended. No, I'm kidding.
Well, we've
I
got
just-
people in the audience who have
I-
worked in Texas, and then we got who's never been to Texas. So for somebody that's never been to Texas, what would you tell them is your biggest thing that they should come see?
Well, it's breakfast tacos. I mean, I think that's a unique to Texas thing. I'm just trying to think. Okay, it's so big. So there's like the Alamo. Do not come see the Alamo. No, she had asked the Alamo. The Alamo is like the lamest attraction. It really is. You're like, everyone's like, and that's it. Okay, moving on. It really is. The river walk's kind of cool. What I like about Texas is like, there's like swimming holes. I say go do those. Go check out the swimming holes, especially like I live in the hill country. So there's a lot of those. And Austin's really cool. I like to go up to Austin. I mean, there's just like, it's Texas.
Barbecue. Can't miss
Yeah,
barbecue.
you can go, yeah, barbecue. I guess I take it for granted a little bit.
Yeah.
Barbecue. Food here is amazing. Yeah. Like Houston, I mean, you've got the NASA Museum. I don't know, it's just Texas. Like, what do you want to do? It's here. That's pretty much.
Schlitterbahn.
Schlitterbah's really cool.
Yeah.
Schlitterbahn is where it's at.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think I live in a pretty sweet spot because you have all of that right here.
What part of the hill country do you live in?
Well, it's San Antonio. So like just the San Antonio, Austin, New Braunfels.
Okay. So you're kind of on the edge a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. So you drive an hour and you're there.
Okay.
Yeah, my uncle and all my family own a big pharmacy chain there, People's Pharmacy, and they have yeah, that's my family. I think some of my cousins were on Austin City Council as well, I believe. And we have there in Marble Falls. We had, obviously this year we didn't have one, but normally we have a family reunion down there every year. I'm related to like half of Texas, so chances are there's somebody like in your neighborhood that, I don't know, is part of my family wreath. I don't have a tree. It just kind of keeps circling back around. So
that's funny. So I'm really hurt. Oh, I should have known this. Nick, you didn't prep me.
you were not offended. It's okay to not like Texas.
No, I do. I love Texas. I really, really do. I just also understand a lot of Texans are like, Texas is everything. And it's like, but there's other places that are really great too. So
there's the rest of the world and then there's Texas. That's kind of how it works with Texans. Yep.
Yes. I'm
Don't
okay
mess
to
with
live.
Texas, right?
Oh, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and introduce the moderators for this. Celeste, can you give us maybe a little background on you for the people that don't know you?
My name's Celeste. I live in the Dallas area. I have 4 kids. I've got a set of twins. My oldest 2 are adopted. Been a divorce since June. So I'm new to the single scene. Loving it so far. Lots of drama and interesting people.
If you ever want to know what it's like to have somebody like come up to you and say, listen, I felt God come out and tell me that my house.
There's been some revelations.
And they have their own revelation about that. Celeste can tell you all about that. She gets that like almost every week.
I get a lot of revelations going on. So it's interesting.
We have Everett Olbich. Everett.
Yeah. I'll give you 3 guesses where I was born. Actually, I think you might only need 2.
I think you said earlier.
Yeah, I know. Nick's got that stumped look on his face, like
it's like a trick question.
Right.
Hell is the first. Yeah, in the hospital or on the side of the road.
So yeah, I live in Portland, and I've been divorced now. Gosh, about 1.5 years total. So here I am.
Newbies.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, oh, you guys are babies.
Oh, thank you. Makes me feel better.
Baby.
In the woods.
I think I'm older than all of y'all, so I can't be the baby.
There it is. How old are you, Celeste?
I'll be 47 next month.
47.
Man, you never asked, Nick.
I don't care.
At this point in my life.
I'm old. I know it.
You don't look it, so that's really all that matters.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So
Thank
that's
you, Capta.
and
All right.
Host of the evening. My name is Nick Perkins. I am from the Pacific Northwest, currently living in Delaware. And for those of you that don't know what Delaware, that's okay. Nobody else does either.
Yeah. Delaware?
Father of three for about almost 2.5 years now. And I moved over here to be close to my kids. Everett and I set up this podcast so that we can get to know people and other people can get to know people through us as well. So, like I said, tonight's person that we are spotlighting is Kassie Call. So, Kassie, you're currently in school.
I am.
Awesome. What are you
I am.
studying?
Well, I'm really not studying. Just kidding. No, I am halfway through to become a special education teacher. The plan is to go on. I either want to become a school counselor or a school psychologist. So that's that. But it's longer. Like a school psychologist is a 3-year master's program. So I'll see when I'm done here what I want to do next. But
no, that's really good.
So
Do you have any
Kassie,
kids that are special needs?
So I have 2 daughters. I didn't say that earlier. So I have 2 daughters. I've been divorced. I just passed my 3-year divorce anniversary. So
divorce anniversary, is that like a new term or something? I haven't heard that before.
I might have made it up, but it should be a thing. I mean, like, that's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing.
See,
Yeah, but-
that's why we do these podcasts, so I can learn these new things that I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it is a thing, but it is now officially.
Oh,
So-
okay. As of
making
this
it a thing.
moment,
Yeah.
November 22nd, 2020 at 7:32 p.m. Pacific time, it is officially a thing. Stamp it,
Right.
done.
Submitting to Webster's.
Oh, no. You got to submit it to Urban Dictionary, the bastion of all truth on the internet. So
I do love Urban Dictionary. I'm not gonna lie,
Urban
actually.
Dictionary is where it's at.
I went on a date with a guy and we sat and like Urban Dictionary has like all like the trending terms or whatever. And we just sat and we are like, okay, what do you think this means? And then we go click and like read it. And
That's fun.
it was just really fun. And that was also like, some things were really innocent and we're like, oh, I totally just showed that I am not by what I thought it meant.
Yeah, I got on there one time with my brother and we just started going down, like you just pick something like the C's or something like that, or
Yeah.
the D's or something, and just go down and start reading stuff. We were like crying, laughing so hard. Some of them are just so crazy and out there. Like that can't actually be a thing. Like one was somebody like took a poo in a sock and beat somebody over the head with it. Like who does that? Come on. Do people really do that? But it's
That's
in
the
Urban
question.
Dictionary.
I know, I do question. I'm like, do people really do that? Like,
I could see Nick doing that.
that's true. We've got Nick.
So okay, you've been divorced for, I'm sorry, 3 years, right?
3 years.
That's your
Officially.
third divorce anniversary. Did I say
That's
that right? Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes.
Married one time, or are you like
Yeah.
someone else that had like kind of kicked the can recycling a few times?
Just the once. So,
Okay.
don't know if we'll do that one again. I don't know. We'll see. Yes, I was married for 13 years. So I don't know if everyone else has found year 13 to be a little bit cursed, but I'd like to see statistics on year 13 in marriages. So
If that's where all the craziness happens.
it's like it just goes downhill. I think year 12, it starts to go downhill, and year 13, it just like manifests full crazy.
It falls apart at year 13. Yeah.
So.
Okay, so are
Mine
you
was
guys?
more year 18.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do a little muting here real quick.
Yeah.
It's popping up. Okay. Whoops. I think Nick. I think you've got to do that.
What are we doing?
Apocalypse.
Someone-
Oh. Ooh, apocalypsing.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Awesome.
doing this.
It's the word
This
of
is
the
like-
day.
I think this is like every LDS dating thing right here. Apocalypsing.
That is, I'm like, this is absolutely LDS dating.
Yeah, like, hi, we've talked twice now for a total of 13 minutes. Would you like to get married? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Sure. Because, you know, eternity goes that fast. Why not?
I think this is like, I think this is just dating, period.
Oh, I don't think outside of LDS dating it's like that, but
So I think with LDS dating, it gets to be a little bit more, people move faster because they don't want to like mess up, you know, they don't want to like have to go talk to their bishop or do something that they shouldn't do. And so like, okay, we've got to get this show on the road real quick because I really want to sleep with you. So let's just go get married.
I agree.
Yeah, that's kind of like a turd floating in the kiddie pool. That lasts really good. So
If that is the issue, then what I think everybody needs to do is they need to find somebody that they are just comfortable with. Somebody that they're just comfortable with, somebody that they can be intimate with, and they'll be like, all right, listen, let's go get married. We don't even have to live in the same house. We'll just get married. Every now and then we'll date other people, we'll see other people. But when we have that urge and we got that need, we'll come together, boom, boom, we're good, and then we keep on going.
Wow. Wow. All
it's
right.
the solution for everything. There you go.
What's the word I'm looking for here? Like making a mockery, maybe?
Mm,
Like,
mockery of marriage, the sanctity of marriage,
yeah.
Nicholas.
But you know, you can do that.
Hey, I've heard of a lot of the BYU students that run off to Vegas, get married for the weekend, annul it, and go back. So,
Yeah,
you know, if it works.
We
I
did.
don't know. Is that cheating the system? Is it?
I think it is. But if we're doing letter of the law, it's all good.
Indeed.
Spirit of the law, a little
Yeah.
questionable.
Which one?
Yeah. So you've been in the dating scene for 3 years now. Tell me a little bit about how that's been going. Actually, you know what we really want to know? We want to know some of the craziness that's gone on because
Crazy.
been in for any length of time, you have met some of the craziness that's gone on in the LDS dating scene.
So, okay.
So give
First,
us
we
some
should
good
probably
ones.
start. I don't date a lot within the LDS world.
Okay, that's fine. There's still crazy people out there anyways.
There are. Well, I think the craziest date I ever went on was with an LDS guy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like worst date ever. Totally was an LDS guy where it was
Wait a
like,
second. Was this one where you like show up and suddenly he's like 5'2" or something, and you're like, what? You don't look like your picture. What's going on here?
I wish that's really what had happened instead of what really happened. That would have been welcomed. No,
Well, that's how I met Celeste. That's how it was. I mean, you look at her now. She looks like she's a very tall person. She's not. She's like 5'7".
What? Yeah, I'm 5'6". I don't claim to be super tall.
Yeah.
Aren't you about 5'6"?
Apparently, I look
Nick?
super short on camera, so that's okay.
Nick, aren't you 5'6"? I mean, with my heels, I think I was taller than you,
Oh,
wasn't I?
Nick, how tall are you? I've met you and I'm like, I don't
He's
even
about
know.
5'6".
No, he's not. 'Cause
Right?
Nick's taller than 5'6".
You're like
I know, I'm just
5'10".
5'6" and a half.
5'11"?
Come on.
5'6" and a half.
5'6 3/4". Thank you.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Nick,
I'm
how tall are you?
5'9".
Are you 5'9"?
I used to be 5'10", and then like my back lower disc freaking like decided to go like a pancake, and like I lost an inch. It was ridiculous.
Hmm.
And everybody can tell you an inch makes a lot of difference.
I was trying to show restraint and not make a joke, but an inch is a lot.
Every inch counts.
Every inch matters.
Especially when you don't have very many to work with to begin with.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always think it's funny when you get on the LDS sites and it's some of the guys who are like, does height really matter to you? And I'm like, yeah, that guy's
Oh
short.
my gosh.
Because they ask that
there's-
question, probing.
Well, that's like on Bumble. If a guy does not put his height, there's a reason.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason. Like, if people leave things off, there's a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
All right, so tell us about your crazy story.
Yeah.
Oh, the worst date. Well, so I knew the guy, like, I knew him and he had asked me out multiple times and I was kind of like, no, I'm, you know, like I kept dodging it. And then he was like, I'll pay for your babysitter. I want to take you here, this, and that. And I was like, okay, look, like I'll go out with you, just like I can't right now. So finally, like I did, it was kind of like a pity date, right? Where it was like, I felt bad. And I should just never go on a pity date because there's a reason you're saying no. And oh my gosh. So, well, he started out telling me about how he'd been fired from all of these jobs, like this string of jobs. And I was like, okay, well, this is great. Like, very interesting to share this. And then he just kept talking about how like only the best looking guys get the women, and you have to be like super good looking. And so I was like, well, that's not necessarily true. Like attraction is multifaceted, right? Like it could be maybe job stability. No. But so then I was trying to paint the picture for the guy because he was like, I read this article or this statistic, you know, and I was sitting there, and not to like, I wasn't diagnosing, but I was like, sir, you are autistic. Like you have no social skills. Like I really was. I was like, I really think you have Asperger's. And like, I was trying to help him out, like to understand.
From this being being this counseling session.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
So
Yeah.
you told him that he had Asperger's, or that you thought that he had Asperger's?
I didn't tell him.
So my son has Asperger's. So if you tell a person they have Asperger's or who has Asperger's, it's not going to do anything. It's going to be like, no, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, my daughter's on the autism spectrum, and my ex-husband actually was diagnosed like on the spectrum. They took away the Asperger's diagnosis, but he would fit that. And so I was just sitting there, and I was like,
so you know what you're looking for.
I mean, I'm not going to truly diagnose, but I was just,
right.
You know, there were some red flags. And so I was trying to help him out, and I was just like, hey, look, like, you know, and I was talking about the guys that I had dated, and I was like, okay, so like there's this guy, and I was kind of describing, I was like, he's not like the best looking guy, but this is, you know, kind of what he had to offer. And then I was like, and in contrast, and I wouldn't normally bring up race, but I was trying to say like looks different. I was like, you know, he was like this tall black man or whatever, and he was like, you dated a black man? And I was like, okay, calm down. And he like zeroed in on this, and he was like, you dated a black man? He's like, I hear they have huge. I was just like, I don't remember did he say dicks? I don't know what he said, but he was like, you know, like they have huge.
Anatomy.
I was like, okay, this is not the point. Like, this is not where we were going. And he just like zeroed in, and he was like, yeah, that probably really helps too. And you know, if you have a small penis, you're just screwed. And I think that's why my ex-wife left me. And I'm like sitting there, and he's yelling.
Telling you this?
Oh my
But
God.
he's not saying this at a normal tone. He is excited. He is like,
I need to say that. I need that as a story. That'll be awesome. My next date that I'm going to go on, I'm be like, yeah, I think my ex-wife left me because my penis is too small. I want to see where that goes.
No, you got to hold that one in your back pocket for one of those dates where you're like, okay, I got to get out of this.
I got to get out of here. Yep.
Yes.
That's an exit
And when
strategy.
she says,
That's
how
a
small
get
are
me
you?
out of here.
Strategy.
Yeah, right. You're like, are we talking AA size or AAA size? Like, how small is small?
Hearing aid.
Yeah. Watch battery. Yeah.
yeah.
Look at that hearing aid size. I mean.
Oh, wow.
I mean, Nick, I've heard some stories about, this is my chapstick, Nick. I've heard about.
Have you heard the toilet paper roll story? That seems the one everyone talks about.
I've heard that.
That's the classic. That's the classic.
No, more importantly, have you seen the toilet paper roll?
Oh my goodness.
I have not.
I haven't either. But
What we need to do is just have Whitney pull it out, because Whitney's the keeper of that, and just share it with everybody. Be like, okay, now everybody knows what the toilet paper polo is all about.
Oh my goodness.
Or we, you know,
every single one of our podcasts, we have to bring up the toilet paper story.
I think it's just going to keep getting kicked around until somebody sees it and get it off their plate.
you're just going to have to show it, and then everyone can see it, and then we can drop the subject.
We don't have it here tonight. I will give a brief synopsis about it, since like everybody is, it's a myth unless proven.
Oh, Deborah doesn't even know what it's about. So
All right, so the toilet paper story. Whitney, other host, she's not here tonight. She was talking on one of her Marco Polo groups and about the toilet paper roll, and some guy made a comment saying that when he is like nice and erect, that he can't put it through the toilet paper roll, and so that's kind of like your measurement. And so all the other guys are like, oh well, yeah, if I'm flaccid or if I'm erect, I can put it in, or I can't put it in, or whatever it is. And I think this whole like who is big and who is small and all of that crap is crap, all of it, and it's a bunch of male testosterone crap being thrown around. And so I made a video polo where I did a mangina, where I tucked my boys underneath the legs, and I put the toilet paper roll on me so that it looks like I'm in the toilet paper roll. And so
it's like he's covering it with the toilet paper roll.
Covering it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, see, I can make it. And right as I'm doing it, I'm like, yeah, I can put it this way. And then I take it off and I turn it around. I'm like, and I can put it this way. And as I take it off, you can see the mangina.
There's like nothing there. Like, where's your wiener? It's like missing. So if you've ever
But this whole time, it's like his whole like naked body from the side of you, except for this toilet paper roll.
Booty and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that. I did that.
I mean, we could do a reenactment. The night is young.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh my gosh!
We are done.
Great idea.
We don't need the original video. We
I
can
checked
create
that
a
box.
new-
I'm moving on with my life. I checked it. I'm done. So yes. Anyway,
That's the toilet paper roll trick from Nick. He shows that it goes both ways and it's the same. There's nothing there either way.
around.
I don't know if I call it a trick, but okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
No wiener, there's your trick.
this guy's giving you this long sob story, and then he's like, "Yeah, my wife left me because I have a small penis."
Yeah,
Right,
pretty much. While shouting how he wished he was a black man. It was
Because then you have a big penis if you're the black man.
yeah. And I was just
Okay.
like, I don't know if you hear yourself, but I can, and everyone else probably around us can. And I did. I kind of looked around. I was like, can anybody help? Like, am I hearing this alone? It was very, and that was just like the beginning. It just kind of snowballed from there.
There should be like a universal woman sign, like to other women, regardless of race, gender, well, race or ethnicity. That like if you like do a certain thing, that other women in the area come and rescue you.
They're like, oh, well, like your girlfriends, will you have a backup? Okay, do you guys do this where it's like, hey, text me at this point and like check in, and if I need you to call me, I'll let you know. Like, do you guys have that?
Guys
an
don't
out-
usually like have wingmen like that. Girls do.
Yeah. So I actually was on a date, and my date and I were looking at my phone, and my girlfriend texted at that moment. It was like, did you need me to call you so you can leave?
Oh my gosh.
Wait, and then you texted her back and said, no, I want this one to go back to my place because I want to see how little we're talking about here. I wanted to see that little Smokey like up personal.
Oh.
She's gonna pull out her toilet paper roll and see how well.
And I was like, well, we
Right.
were gonna do the toilet paper roll challenge, but no.
Chapstick cap.
If you're on a date with me, unless it's a pity date, you're generally gonna have a pretty good sense of humor about things. And he was dying laughing.
So I'm guessing there wasn't a round 2 with this date.
With that date? No, actually there was. That was a good date. That was a really good date.
Oh, it's a
So-
really good date when a guy comes out and tells you he wishes he was black.
Oh, wait, okay. I'm sorry.
I'm like, wait,
Oh, okay.
what?
Whoa, no.
Guys, I just got to tell you about this guy I met. He has the smallest pecker I've ever heard. His wife might have left him for that, but he's really charming. I think we're going to try it again. Why not?
I mean,
Yeah,
his employment
makes
status is iffy at best. Yeah. No, I was on the no. There was not a second date. No, I got in my car after that date and I just laughed. Like I just like sat there for a second and was like everything kind of was like, did all of that really just happen? And I just died of laughing because I was like, that was so insane. It was great.
When he breaks out, though, look, it's not the size of the ship that matters. It's how you steer it into port. That's when you're like, okay, yeah, definitely small. This isn't going to go to round 2.
Oh, but he wasn't even optimistic. He was just like, I'm screwed my whole life because like, I don't have a giant pecker. Like, I was like, I don't know what to say here, but like, I'm sure that somebody could love you.
I love how like on first dates, some people like get to know you and some people really want to get to know you. Like, hi, my name's Cassie. I've been divorced for 3 years. What's your story? Well, my name's Bob and I have a small dick and my wife left me because of it.
Oh my God.
I think that's
Good to meet you, Bob.
And I am, yeah. I gotta go. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna be right back. Hold that thought.
Yeah.
I probably would have, but I knew like he's in the LDS groups here. And so I was like, well, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So that's one story with the craziness, but that wasn't, so you've been on the LDS dating groups for a while, right? You've been on 35 and Wiser or LDS dating or some of the others for a bit, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying that you've never gone out on any of these dates with any of these guys? Or you've never had guys reaching out to you like, hey, and they speak broken English or something, and then they want to send you like dick pics.
Oh, they're in love with me. They're like,
Well,
that's your good morning, beautiful, like writing you a sonnet. Yeah. Like,
ooh,
I just
I
had
write you songs.
I have somebody from California that sent me a message and she's like, "Good morning, dear. Did you sleep?"
What was his name?
yeah.
I'm good, hun. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm like, no. I'm like, tell you what, let's do a video chat and then we can see if you're actually a real person.
That's
Right.
And they're like, I
We're
just
busy.
met you. No way. I'm like, yeah, no, you're not a real person.
no. So dating within the singles groups, I have gone on one date with a guy from one of the Facebook groups.
One date with one guy from one Facebook group.
Yes.
That's it.
I'm not the most. Have you ever seen me in the Facebook groups? I don't.
She doesn't really get all that active.
I generally fight with men in there.
Oh, okay. Now this is going to be something we get to talk
You
about.
like to stir the pot a little bit, huh?
No, I don't. I really hate sexist behavior, and I will call men and women out on it. And
Well,
it
that's
doesn't
kind
really.
of like, that's the epitome of those groups, though. It is like the battle of the sexes in there.
It's so bad, and
Yeah.
so I think I've gotten a little more combative over time. No, I did leave all of them, or like just unfollowed all of them for a while. I took a nice break, and then I do feel like there's one that I just like a lot of misogyny. Granted, there can be like sexism on both sides, and I am against both, but like there's some really interesting men in those groups.
When you say misogyny, like give us an example of like what you see that really, because I'm sensing that this is kind of a triggering subject for you. So
I don't think it's triggering, because triggering is more like I'm so offended and I'm upset. It's more just like, hey dude, what you're doing is not okay. Like this is what you're doing. I see it. Like that's not okay. That's more like I'll just kind of call it out sometimes. Like there was a post where the guy, and I think he really just tries to be inflammatory, and it was like basically telling women that they are not, like, Prince Charming's not just going to show up at your door. You're going to have to like go out there. And it's kind of like, we don't need you to tell us that. Like, who are you?
Did you feel he was mansplaining or something?
It was mansplaining.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I just, I don't think that anybody needs anybody to tell them what they need to be doing. Or, like, we're all equals. And I don't think that women, like the post where like man hate's not okay either. I mean, you do it with your girlfriend when you're like mad at a man, but like the deep, like perpetuating that kind of behavior. Are you going to pull that up?
It was Micah. I knew it was Micah. Yep.
Okay,
There it is.
Originally, it did say Prince Charming.
Nope. Sean.
It's Prince Charming, huh?
He did change it.
God owes you nothing.
So I don't know if any of y'all know Micah, but I know him pretty well, and he does this stuff on purpose.
I kind of figured.
This is who he is. He likes to stir the pot.
Nice.
He
He probably got a kick out of you just having a coronary over him. He's probably over there laughing. Oh, look, I got her all riled up.
But that's the funny part is I don't really get riled up. I just am like, I really love, I don't know. I like a good argument sometimes. Like.
So let me ask you a question. Why does that bother you so much? Did you have a negative experience with your ex or something where he was really controlling or?
No, my ex is kind of afraid of me.
Oh. Wait a second. Side question. Do you have a very domineering personality for a girl? And if so, I happen to know a guy who's looking for girls with very domineering personalities.
I know a guy as well.
I have a strong personality. That,
So to say you're opinionated is an understatement, is that?
So I like to think of it like this, like in the workplace, I was told that there's like high impact employees, right? And, that can be good and bad, but I was considered a high impact employee just because of my personality, like outspoken, and they did mean it in a good way, but I know that it's not always in a good way. So I don't think that's domineering. It's just,
So can you be contentious sometimes? Is that what you're saying?
I will fight you. I will fight you. Like, I will totally, I will stand up for what I believe, and I can be argumentative. Yeah.
So where does that come from? Did you just have like were you originally a redhead? I mean, you can tell us truthfully if you dyed your hair, but
I was.
Yeah.
No, I'm 6 out of
that fiery spirit, or is that
6 out of 7 kids? You had to fight for everything to as a kid. I have 5 brothers. I think.
Do you have a kind of a harsh relationship with your brothers?
No, I mean, one of them, we're very similar, and so that can always make it hard. We're 2 very opinionated people. That doesn't always work
on the
well.
same side of the political spectrum.
We are, which is helpful. But there's we find other things to fight about.
All right.
So, yeah. So no, we're actually pretty easygoing. I don't know. I just was never shy. I was never shy and very open with my opinions. And so I've tempered it. I really have, but not in Facebook groups.
So when you see these posts going on Facebook from the guys, does it really kind of do you feel your blood start to boil a little bit sometimes? That really I need to respond to that.
Only when they're really being completely offensive. Men can be really offensive, and I had a guy, and I don't know that my blood boiled. I kind of laugh it off because I'm really because obviously I don't respect these people, so why would I really take their words and opinions to heart? If I'm in a mood, I might go with it. I think it's repressed anger coming out sometimes. Maybe we can psychoanalyze it, but for the most part, I kind of enjoy it a little bit.
Enjoy kind of arguing with people on there? Is that
you like to argue with people, or are you going for a devil's advocate type of a concept?
I do like playing devil's advocate. sometimes just to kind of see where people will go. But I also like sometimes I think that people don't always notice when someone's doing something shitty, and they'll go with it and allowing, I think this is okay if we want to really get into where it stems from, like manipulative, like kind of like underhanded crappy behaviors, and people that like will pull people into it, into like, oh yeah, women, whatever. Like, I don't like that. And so I think that educating people and like stating like, hey, what you're doing is this and it's not okay.
That
Like,
your fallacies of logic that you're a big fan of?
I do love fallacies of logic, logical fallacies, and calling them out.
I have to say, I really enjoy this. Kassie and I have spoken a lot over the last like 7-8 months, whatever that has been, and she knows that I enjoy this stuff as well. And so she sent me some information on the fallacies of logic, and I started reading up on a couple. And then I started like quizzing myself on it. I was like, okay, this is this fallacy, that's that fallacy. Okay, very good. And then as I started getting into arguments with people on Facebook, and I started recognizing which one was which, and I was like, all right. And so I'd come out and be like, all right, you're saying this, but this is really what's going on, and this is what you're doing, and I don't like it. Yeah.
Be a more effective communicator if you catch yourself using these tactics.
Okay, so let me ask you a question about this, because I sort of feel like with the battle of the sexes, people will just take sides, and they lightly touch on the same logical fallacies coming from their own camp. In other words, you might be hyper offended at like some of the things, or not necessarily hyper offended, but hypersensitive, that's probably a better word, to some of the posts of guys. But from a guy's perspective, I might be more sensitive to some of the posts of the women. And I could say, clearly that's because, of things that have happened in my past with my past relationships and things of that nature. But do you find yourself looking much at some of the posts of the women and going like, oh my gosh, that's just ridiculous? Or is it mainly just the guys that you're like, that's crazy? Because I would say it goes both ways, but do you notice it much?
For sure, it goes both ways. I think in this group in particular, it tends to be a lot more coming from the men. And I think that I will say that like I'll see a lot of women kind of like going along with it. And maybe that's where I get a little bit more like, no, you shouldn't be accepting this kind of behavior. Like, this is not okay. Like, I don't like that for women. But there was another group that I was in that the women, I would call it out too. I'd be like, not every man is that way. Like, stop like painting with a broad brush, right? I really don't like all men suck, or, and it's like, some men do, some women do. Like, let's not put everybody into the same camp. I think outside of the church, I see a lot more, what's the word for misandry? Misandry is like misogyny on the opposite side. It exists. I think I even pointed it out in that group recently when somebody did it. So obviously it's not personally affecting me, but I mean, I do have brothers and I have friends that I think are very good men that I stand up for them too.
So would you say that one of the main concerns that I have, well, this is what I've seen, is that a lot of the women will post about how a majority of the men have pornography addicts?
That's when the guy that I actually dated for a little, or like whatever, off of one of the Facebook groups, that is where we connected, because somebody had posted something about pornography. And it was very judgmental. And I kind of was like, hey, look, like I just shared. So I've worked a 12-step program for 4 years now. I just for codependency. But in that, I have learned so much about addiction and just other people, like behaviors behind it. And I associate with a lot of people that have struggled with a lot of addictions. And it's really kind of made me less judgmental, I think, in a lot of ways. And so when I see women coming out and like, kind of like just really harshly attacking pornography addiction, or like their approach, I'm kind of like, well, like, why hold that against them? Like, people can change or they can learn, like, you know, where they're like, if he's ever had a porn problem, I would never date him. And it's like, but like, we all have things, you know, it's, have they done the work to overcome it? Like, I don't like that. I don't like shutting people down just forever for their past.
That's where I think people, when they have like a serious pain or something that has happened in their past, that they're like, I'm never going to deal with that again. But that is, in my opinion, somebody who has not completely faced what's happened in their own relationship. Yes, those things can happen. So, for example, one that I see going around that I think is kind of comical a little bit, and Nick and I have joked about it. I think we've joked about it on here a few times, but girls who will come out and be like, if I ever see a guy who plays video games, I will never date him. I'm like, okay, come on. Like, look, there are times when I like to get together with the guys and play a little Madden. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's fun. But that doesn't mean every guy is sitting around playing video games, not doing a job and neglecting their family, you know? Maybe that was their experience, but that projection gets to be way overblown. So I see that quite a bit on there. Just people's past hurts are just bleh. Everybody's got these. And if you have anything remotely close to it, forget it. You're out. Like, oh, okay, cool. Because that's how Christ handles it, you know?
I mean, you can do that. Like, I'm always like, well, you can do that, but you may miss out on a lot of people. You know, you're kind of like limiting yourself and judging people. Not everybody's the same. Not everybody's your ex. You know, when you're coming from a place of fear, because that's really what that is. That's like a fear-based judgment or decision, in my opinion.
I think I saw Celeste actually jump on somebody this last week where somebody was saying, well, I have, what did she call them? They said that they were picky. Said that they were really picky, and you know they just felt like that they wanted, you know, X, Y, and Z, and you know I'm picky, and that's probably why I'm not going to get married again. And Celeste, do you remember what I'm talking about, Celeste?
I don't, so keep
Oh,
talking.
okay. Yeah, so
I remember the post. I don't remember Celeste jumping on
See
it.
that one?
yeah, she just thought like, you know what, life is short. Be picky when you're picking your next person.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with being picky. You're only talking about forever here. You know, it's not like you'll be good for a year or so. Like, no, get what you want. Like, that's it. Don't settle. That's where bad problems happen, I believe.
Celeste, I see your mouth moving, and I think you're doing like this whole ventriloquist thing. You need to get a doll to kind of like.
Yeah. No, I think I think your headphones aren't working.
They aren't working at all. You can't hear me.
Now they're working.
I think what it is, if someone else is talking, my microphone's not nearly as powerful as yours, so yours will take over and like cut me out. I think that's what it is.
That could be it.
I don't know.
Check your on the bottom left where it shows like microphone and camera. Check and see which microphone is connected, because we can barely hear you. I have a feeling your earpods aren't connected on the microphone. It's just going through your laptop.
Like I wasn't sure if my hearing aids were not working, but I couldn't hear you very well at all.
Yeah.
No,
It's like, I can't hear anybody. You're all messed up. They're like, nope, your hearing aid batteries are dead. Sorry.
Don't worry, I'm good. I'm good.
Hold on.
Yeah, I would say that in those groups, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find people projecting a lot, and that is just their own thing. And, you know, to be fair, from a guy's side, I would say I notice it more from the women, but that's because I'm a guy and my pain comes from, you know, my ex. So I totally understand like why you would see the guys more. I see the guys and I'm like, okay, that guy's kind of an idiot. I get it. Like, not the smartest thing to say, but to you, it might be like, oh my gosh, that really hits in a sore spot. It might mean more to you than it does to me.
Probably. I'm sure that's a fair enough assessment, I would say. And
so give me an example then of something that you would project and say like, you know, this is kind of a deal killer for me. Like, and we already know the small penis is one, so we can go past that one.
I mean, that's every woman's deal breaker. If they know, like, it ends there, it's like,
Right.
yeah.
Not every
A
girl.
strap-on really only goes so far.
I mean,
That's right.
that would be a deal breaker.
So what are your red flag deal breakers?
Gosh, I feel like I am so bad with dating that I'm like, I don't know, do I have standards anymore? Do I? Like, so there's a difference between like, do I want to go on another date with this person versus do I want to let this person really into my life? I will say I am pretty guarded and keep a lot of like, you know, when you're talking about the apocalypsing dating, that's not generally my approach. I'm generally like, hey, this is fun. Do we want to keep having fun? Like, do we want to keep the fun going? So like, I think perhaps I miss a lot of red flags because I'm like, is this fun? But I mean, like, you know, I think I told you, Nick, when I went out with that guy a couple weeks ago, he told me on a date that he'd had 2 DUIs. And I was like, okay, that's alarming, you know?
I forgot, was this guy LDS or not?
No. No. And so, but I was like, okay, you know, like things happen, you know, I was an insurance agent. I
Obviously, sometimes they happen twice.
I pull driving records all day, you know, or I used to, and it's like, that's not that common, right? Like that's not, and he was kind of like, oh, it was stupid. It was this thing. And so I was more of like, do you have a drinking issue? Like what's, and you know, it was 8 years ago or whatever. And it's like, okay, I mean, you're responsible in these ways, but it was kind of one that gave me pause, right? Like, that's a huge, you know, like, drinking problems, which if you're dating LDS, that's not something that comes up a lot, but
Even still though, it does come up.
like even in just a casual dating like format, I was like, that might be something I can't like, maybe not. But I also, you know, like we're not the sum of our mistakes, but what's a true deal breaker? If you're 5'7" and
Oh,
kidding.
we just need the mark. We're good.
No, I think that there's just like, obviously, like if you're sitting there and you're just like blaming everybody, like that type of behavior right there, like you can't tell me anything you've done wrong in your past or in your marriage and take ownership. You know, if you're divorced, if you're like the victim, that's more of something that I can't deal with.
What if they really were the victim?
I mean, there's few instances where we really truly are the victim in things. Like, you know, there's like rape and there's molestations and then there's like somebody attacks you. Typically though, I found in my own life, at least, I can take ownership in a lot of situations. Maybe it's like this small piece out of this, but like, what's your small piece? Like if you can't do that, then I think down the road, that's probably not going to bode well.
So what you're saying is not necessarily that they're not at fault or they're not a victim per se, but they do have something that they could have done differently as well.
The victim mindset where it's like, everything just happened to me, you know, but like, I mean, so like my ex-husband had an affair, right? He is married to his affair partner. Was I a victim in that? Yeah, like you don't have any say in what that person's doing and it's awful and it sucks. However, was I perfect in our marriage? And like, is he the only problem that we ever had? You know, no, like I had to like take
Basically,
inventory.
had you had more sex with him, he wouldn't have cheated on you.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's definitely what it was. Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
look, it's not necessarily that maybe he just made a mistake and tripped and she fell on his penis repeatedly. That happens.
Yeah,
too,
I
you know?
hate when that happens. Like you just fall into a vagina. It's like
That, you know, maybe
Damnedest thing every
fell,
time.
he had a seizure. I mean, these things happen.
I mean, I was like too attentive sometimes, and it just pushed him away. And no, I mean, like, looking back, it's like, oh wow, I really did some messed up things, like really truly, like I made some really, really grave mistakes in my marriage, and like they were hard to come to terms with, and I've like had to make an amends to him even after he had cheated, right? But like to kind of, I think it was very liberating in a lot of ways, and made me feel empowered that like I don't have to repeat my last relationship, because the part I played, even if it was this part or this, you know, like if I change that, that will change the course in some way, right? I still can't control the other person, but like I'm not going to repeat my behaviors.
No, I think that's really a good way of looking at that, because there are a lot of people who they go through those situations and they just look at, I can't believe this happened to me. And no, it's not, you do not have any control over somebody else and their behavior and what they do. We can only control ourselves and our own actions and attitudes, and whatever issue that we played into that. And honestly, I really don't know what you could take ownership on over something like that, other than maybe, you know, had I tried to, I don't know, make the house a little bit more loving, or I don't know. I mean, what can you take ownership on for somebody that cheats on you? I don't see it.
Well, but there's like the state of the marriage, right? Like it wasn't like he woke up one day and was like, you know, there's the state of the marriage and like drifting apart. And I could look back and like there were things that I was like, oh, that's actually like really bad that I did. You know, I contributed to the general state of the marriage. Who's to say he wouldn't have done the same thing had I done things differently? It doesn't really matter. All that matters was it just, for me, it kind of gives you a sense of empowerment to say like, well, perhaps if I like in the future don't, or just saying like, hey, I didn't like this thing I used to do. I don't want to do that again because that was hurtful. You know, yes, in the end, like the ultimate destruction was his decision, but there were like 1,000 cuts before the affair to our marriage, and I made some of those.
Sure.
So can you guys hear me now? I think I turned them up.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just add something here. So I also feel that there's a lot of empowerment that comes in situations like this where you can like not take blame. Like my husband in his scenario was just crazy what I had to go through. And he had me convinced a lot of time that it was my fault. Like he was really good at doing that whole, you're the issue, not me. So, I mean, I find that I'm more powerful by saying, no, I'm not the issue. I was not the issue. You are the issue. And I'm not going to take that blame. And so I understand what you're saying that, okay, like, I mean, I was probably not perfect in the marriage, but his infidelity and all of his crazy stuff that he's got going on in his life was not my fault. And I feel powerful by saying it was not my fault. That was you. It was nothing to do with me. So depends on I guess it depends on the situation. That's how it was for me.
I would say like part of for me being able to like inventory myself, right? Like a true inventory, you can break down this part was mine and this part was not mine. And I think I used to take on things like his like gaslighting, you know, the great term. I mean, my ex-husband absolutely like did a lot of really atrocious things. And he would have me convinced that I was insane. And I wasn't able really to sort out like what parts were really me and what were not until I could take that ownership. I think like it goes hand in hand. Like if you can't take any ownership, like it's just, I don't know, it was a like aha moment, I think, in my recovery from divorce or whatever, to really be able to be like, this part, absolutely, I played a part in this I did not. But I couldn't say that I didn't until I knew what I did, if that makes sense.
Sure. When I'm thinking about it and when you're saying it, like The nice part about this panel here is that I know that each one of us have gotten cheated on.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I know that's been Everett's. I know it's been Celeste. I know my own personal. My ex, when I told her that we were done, she went and got restraining orders against me and protection orders against me, so I couldn't come back to the house at all. And then about a month later, she was already dating somebody else. So I couldn't come home. She was dating somebody else, and she ended up getting married before our divorce was actually final. So yeah, it's just like I'm trying to take what you're saying now. I'm doing my own inventory, and I'm looking at that situation thinking, damn, what? I mean, if this is her, like in what instance here am I going to take whatever
Right.
ownership in that?
And I think that's so. I think that it's like for me, really being able to. Sometimes it's kind of like tricky, right? It's like,
And
you
maybe
don't want to.
maybe it's not the ending portion, because what I'm also hearing from you say is not the end result of the cheating, but the relationship itself, how it got to this point. Like, yes, I was taking gasoline and dousing the house. She was taking gasoline and dousing the house. Yes, in the end, she took the match and threw it on the ground. But had we both not been throwing gasoline everywhere, maybe the house wouldn't have burned down.
Maybe, but it's also like one of the things I also will say, like, hey, but like, I think cheating does come down to character, because I was in the same bad marriage and I didn't cheat. Like,
Sure.
we had the same options. I chose differently. So there's this like I think it's just a hard thing to really break it down, but like kind of taking ownership, like in the behaviors themselves, and saying like this in a bubble was wrong and bad. And so I'm just going to take that ownership. I'm not going to say like this caused the end result, because that's kind of like untangling a skein of dysfunction that like, who knows really what did this weigh an ounce in the 1,000 pounds that tipped the scale? Like, I don't know. It just is like, hey, but these behaviors I can identify and say, I don't want to do those anymore, you know?
So I think what maybe a better way to say it, you know, having had somebody like Nick's right, we've all kind of been cheated on here in this group, and it kind of stinks. But you find people who just want to sit around and perpetually like complain about their ex, versus those people who are like, well, you know what? Let me just see what I can fix about myself. And that's the only thing I have control over. And that's what I'm going to work on. So, yeah, I mean, I could sit around and complain about my ex all the time because, yeah, it was rotten and horrible. But, you know, I get to a point where I'm like, all right, I need to do better here. And there are times where still I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm praying for a meteor to, you know, crash land on somebody or something like that. Like, oh, that'd be nice. But at the same time, I look at myself and like, all right, from a step back from the pain, what would Christ want me to do in this situation? How can I be better? How can I fix, you know, whatever I've got going on? Because I'm not perfect. And anything that I did in that marriage that wasn't right, that's all I can do. That's all I can focus on.
And it just, yeah, it's, and I'll say like, I'm 3 years out, and really like almost 4, because I left almost 4 years ago and filed for divorce, but it wasn't finalized for a while. But I still can trip myself up and get into like, his choices, and like, you know, it's unfair or whatever. And I think we all have those moments, but like, it's just like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what he did or what he, you know, if like all I have is this and what I choose to do moving forward. And yeah, like,
Yeah, I mean, you take what you learned from the situation you just went through, which sounds pretty horrific, and then you use that knowledge to move forward and turn it into something good. Like, none of us want to repeat what we've been through, but we don't want to lose the knowledge we gained from it, right?
I know, if you could like skip that experience but keep the knowledge, wouldn't that be
Keep
great?
the knowledge. Yep.
That's where the wisdom comes in. So
Yeah.
you've got this experience, you're moving forward. you mentioned a couple times, just hitting it a little bit on the head about your dating practices now. It sounds like you are open to dating members, non-members. Is there a criteria that you're looking for in the people that you date?
Yeah, okay. So sometimes I think that like I've gotten to this point, right? So where I'm really comfortable being alone. Like it's hard to imagine like bringing somebody into my kids' lives. Like this is probably a little bit my like defense mechanism where it's like I like you over here, we're gonna and you keep your life over here. So I think sometimes I'll have will I date men that I'm like, well, you're just fun and we get along really well without asking the question of like, would I actually like have a future with you? I'll probably sometimes like just keep dating somebody because it's fun. But I also am honest about it, I guess, with the other person, where it's like, like, hey, this is fun. I don't really know where I want to go with things or whatever. Like, I think as long as you're honest about that, right? Like, I just want to keep it casual or whatever. I like things here. I'm not like in a rush to.
This is something that
me out, Nick.
This is what I've heard a couple times this last week, and it's something that is new to me in my learning. Talking about extreme independence, and you were just telling us that you are very comfortable being by yourself right now.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing here is that an extreme independence is a defense mechanism and a trauma response. An inability to trust are the ways to be avoiding getting hurt again.
Well, but this isn't a trust thing. This is more of like, I'm okay to be by myself, right? I'm not like, I need to get remarried or like, I need somebody to come partner up. Like, that would be great, right? But that's not where things are. I'm open to that. But in the meantime, it's like, well, but if you meet people and they're fun and you want to just like casually date, that's okay too.
Yeah, so you're not in a point where you're extremely independent in the sense of I don't need other people. You're in a point of I'm okay with myself, and if somebody else comes along, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, if they add to my life, absolutely, that is great. If they start taking from it, I don't know. But intertwining lives, I think that's something I just haven't gotten to a place with somebody yet where I could actually see like doing that. Like, I don't know, where people like, they had the thread the other day about like getting married in 3 months. And I'm like, I couldn't do that. I could not marry somebody that I just met 3 months ago.
How long did you and your ex date before you guys got married?
We eloped, we were engaged. And I think like 9 months or something, which for LDS standards is incredibly long. But
so why did you guys elope then?
So we lived an hour apart from each other. And I absolutely hate weddings. I should be clear. I hate weddings. I have always hated them. And I hated planning our wedding. And his parents aren't very nice. And so his dad especially, and so we lived an hour apart from each other. I lived with my mom and he lived with his parents, and it was like just really difficult to get to see each other, and we wanted to be together, right? Like there was no doubt from when we started dating. It was just like, I like you, I love you, this is what we're gonna do. There was never a question in our minds that whether or not we wanted to be together. We always got along really well. I mean, we really had a happy marriage in a lot of ways. There was a lot of dysfunction with the happiness, but like we're very compatible people, except for those,
except for the affairs.
Except for things like that. And I mean, like again, there was dysfunction on both of our parts, right? Like we needed help with communication and a lot of things.
So let me ask you another question then. You've got a strong personality by your own admission. You're very opinionated. Was he somebody that was more kind of reserved, where you could kind of like, is that what you need in a guy? Is someone who will kind of like take a back seat?
I don't know that that's necessarily good for me. Nick knows me. But I really do enjoy the challenge. I like to be challenged. Like, I think that was actually something that I would get frustrated with in my marriage. And I would say, like, I wish you had more expectations for me. I don't know if that's a weird argument to have, but like, I think that was actually, he was far more passive. But I think that was a huge, like, when you talk about compatibility, it made things easy because there wasn't like, it's kind of like, oh, we'll just go with whatever you want. But I would get like, hey, I want your opinion. I want you to have more input because that shows me that you're like, I felt like I drug him through life.
It makes him seem more invested.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
This is an interesting thing because we just had this conversation with Nick when we did his podcast. And Nick wants to have somebody who's very much kind of like, I'm going to take control. I'm a strong personality. And, sometimes I feel like it's too many chiefs for one tribe, and that's where, while it seems like on paper that would be great, once you get there, you're just going to butt heads. Especially if you're not always going the same direction, which if you've been in a marriage any length of time, you don't always go the same direction.
Sure.
So
I think, like finding a balance of like communication and like compromise, which is I didn't have to have a lot of compromise, honestly, in my marriage. And I found it interesting. So like after I left my ex-husband, I was painting my daughter's room in the house that I moved into when I moved here. And my brother and my sister were helping me. And I was like, no, you need to do it this way. Like you're not doing it the right way. And my sister and my brother were like, we're helping you. You get what you get. Like and I was kind of freaking out. I was like, no, you need to do it this way. And my sister was like, you're not used to somebody like pushing back. Like they said about my ex-husband, they're like, Nathan would have just gone with it and he would have done it your way. You have to learn that you don't always get your way. And I was super uncomfortable with it. And I was like, there's truth to what you're saying.
It's really tough. I think for me, as somebody who's gone through, divorce more than once, I really had to take a step back, look at myself, do my own personal inventory, but not only that, look and say, why do I keep choosing the same type of person? And obviously that's not good for me. So what is it that I really need to find that's going to be a good fit for me? And I mean, I've said it a million times that sometimes I'm like, all right, well, I'll just wait till the millennium because then I won't have to like have all these stupid problems and all this kind of stuff. It, obviously kind of a cop out, but I think part of doing my own inventory was doing my own, I don't know, for lack of a better term, cost benefit analysis of different types of relationships. If I'm in a relationship with somebody with a strong personality, what are the benefits? What are the costs of that? How's it going to like play out? And I had to sort of narrow down, like, this is what I've been doing wrong. And I can't put that on them. Maybe I can put the affair on them or something else. But at the end of the day, I chose to be with that person that in all likelihood was probably at high risk of having an affair, So in your situation, is that something that you've done? Like, all right, what kind of guy do I really need that's going to be the right fit for me?
Can I list it out? Like, this is what, that's a very, like, these specific traits. I definitely know, like, I have to have a man who's like accomplished, like the no, like
is this going to be like a list like on, have you seen the Singles Ward, that movie where at the end the girl's like, he's definitely going to be 6'5", master's degree, make $100,000 a year, and then like she marries like a short mechanic or something?
Yeah, no, it's more of like and I say accomplished, not necessarily with education or whatever. They have to be secure in who they are. And like, and I think for a man, career is a huge identification, or like identifier in your person. And so I think that like my ex-husband really has kind of been very flighty. I can't have a flighty person, right? I need somebody more solid and they're sure of what they want and who they are. And that works well for me, because in that, like that alone, I'm not pushing them, right? Like I would tell my ex-husband, I'm like, you should go to dental school. You should go to dental school. This is why. And he would like consider it, but he doesn't want, you know, like, and so that's where I kind of say, like, you have to, like with that strong personality, it's really great if somebody will do whatever you want.
Why?
Or whatever.
Why did he need to go to dental school?
Okay, because the schedule is really good and you make really good money.
Who cares if he enjoys
And
it?
because he had no ambitions, he had no plans, so I came up with one, right? Like,
Nice. You were basically trying to clone yourself. That's what was going on.
So-
Like, if I could make two of me, I'd have one of me go to dental school and the other of me stay at home.
What if he was really ambitious in a way that you did not like? So, for example, I knew a lady who had a guy that she was
Dude,
like,
what the hell is on
loved
your
it.
hand?
I know every time it goes like this,
Oh,
I'm like, what is
Like
he
every
writing?
time that he brings up his hand, I'm like, what are you trying to show us?
This is my notepad. So definitely, like if I write it on a sticky, I'll forget it. But if I write it here, then I'm like, oh yeah, that. So I've got to send off an email. It's about my one of my daughter's tutors. So, anyways, I'll use the other hand. How's that sound?
here we go.
But this guy had a serious ambition of owning a comic book store. Like, that was his thing. So,
I
but he
love
was
how you
looking
roll
for
your
it.
eyes and then
So,
you.
Yeah.
you struck a nerve. You struck a nerve, Everett.
Oh, I'm guessing that this might be something close to your ex, right? Was he into comics?
No, his only dream that he ever really shared, like, was to one day own a paintball range or a racetrack, a paintball store with his brother. Like, and
No, Lloyd. We're gonna save money for the worm store.
well, I just was like, hey, that's great, but like, you have, like, what are you doing? You know, I never said like you can't do that or that's stupid, but I was just like, well, I hope you and Ryan can do that one day, but you know, to get there.
Do it as like a side gig, a side hustle, not like your main.
Yeah, and there was like a complete lack of like any effort or like, you know, like knowledge to maybe go along with that. There was never any
Did he
work
have a
behind-
business degree? Did he have a business degree to where he could run a business?
Did he have any degree?
No, well, he was always working on it.
Ah,
To be fair, I have been working on my degree for 20 years. No. So he was in the military. So, I mean, he had we were financially fine, but, and he was, you know, like slowly working. He's not very ambitious. He's not a very ambitious person, which, okay. You know, he found a career that suited that. You know, the military is kind of a good place for people that don't want to make decisions, or, you know, they'll kind of tell you what to do. That's why he liked me, because I told him what to do. No.
Well, somebody said that a dream without a plan is just a wish.
Yeah, he's a dreamer. And that, you know, that was a big difference between the two of us. But I also think that it made him feel like, I can recognize now, like that made him feel, I think, less secure, and he would feel threatened. Actually, he admitted this, that he felt threatened by me in a lot of ways throughout our marriage.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's actually been one of the trending topic across a couple of these groups that I'm in, where they're asking men, are you threatened by a woman that is successful? And I don't understand the concept behind people that are. And why?
the only thing I would say on something like that to be threatened by is if somebody has had like an affair outside with other people at their work.
Yeah.
Like, so for example, I know a girl that I've dated her off and on for years, but I could never be serious with her because she's probably, I can't count the number of guys that she's had an affair with at work. I'm all for her, but she's like super into her career. And I'm like, the deeper you get into your career, the more guys you run into, and it just continues to be a problem. And for that reason alone, that to me is like, no. But if she just wants to be successful and then it doesn't like affect our marriage, like, hey, you're successful because you slept your way to the top. Other than that, you know, hey, knock
The way to the middle, apparently.
What's that?
That apparently he slept her way to the middle.
Nick tried to sleep his way to the top, but the guy just wasn't interested. So, Nick, you seriously look like you're on Duck Dynasty tonight.
The glasses.
I kept motioning.
That's right. That offer for the dirty mattress behind 7-Eleven in the rain just wasn't enough for him.
Wasn't
right?
enough.
Yeah. Keep trying. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll find
So-
a daddy somewhere.
Well, I think it's super interesting. You're in a spot where you've got a strong personality, but you're also climbing the ranks in your career and moving forward. And if you're looking for a guy that is that way also, I would guess, I mean, I could be totally wrong, but my personal just feeling from seeing other relationships, someone who's accomplished, but is more laid back, who's not going to take a strong personality and like, you know, I feel strongly about this issue. Someone who will let you have your strong opinions and not necessarily kick back against those.
Yeah, and my ex-boyfriend, I would say like the healthiest relationship I've had post-divorce was that good combination where he was a dentist. He
You already gone through dental.
It's so funny. Like, of course.
You'll be a dentist. Yeah.
It was right though. It was a good plan. No, like I'm like, dude, if I could handle mouths, I would become a dentist. But no, but like that work ethic, that
You just gotta
Drive.
set action out into
just a drive. But it's not like this, oh my gosh, I just need validation or anything like that. But he's also super laid back, very funny. Just it's a good balance, like where I'm kind of intense, right? Like I'm like, oh, okay, we gotta like, I have to have a 4.0 all the time, and like, or in the workplace, like I was, so I worked, in insurance for a corporation, and it was very competitive, and it was like I always had to be number one, and just like that's kind of. And we were dating when I worked there, and he'd be like, dude, just like slow down a little. Like that doesn't really matter in the big, and it was a good balance, I think. He probably would never argue with internet strangers.
It's funny. One of the most kind, quiet guys I know, a good friend of mine, his name is Brett. He gets on to Facebook all the time, and he's like, oh, you won't believe what this one posted. I'm like, who cares? And I love that meme. It's kind of a little harsh, but it's like, what does arguing with somebody on Facebook and winning a gold medal at the Special Olympics have in common?
It's nothing to
Heard that before? No matter who wins, you're still retarded. So it's harsh.
There's no winning. There's no winning fighting internet strangers.
There is no winning. That's the point. You can't win arguing with somebody on Facebook. It's just
like you're losing by engaging in it, and I do it, and I know, but we all have our thing,
Yeah. Well,
just kill him with kindness.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't do that one. I don't.
It's a good one. It's a good route.
I mean, I have had people before, and usually it's like when they go personal, they start attacking you or something.
Well, that's ad hominem.
Yeah, well, you can eat a fat dick yourself. So you like send off that message, and then you're just like, well, this has really gone nowhere, and nobody won. That was great. But in that moment, you feel like that vindication, like I gotta get it. I gotta win. And you're like, there is no winning. There's no trophy here.
Nobody won
gets a gold
here.
sticker.
On the book, I'm listening to a book on tape right now, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it talks about Benjamin Franklin's autobiography, and he goes on talking about how he treated people, and in his youth he was very opinionated and very like, I am right. And he would show people why he was right. And then somebody came along and said, it's really going to suck when you get older that nobody's going to bother listening to you. The person that's wrong doesn't want to hear that they're wrong. And the more that you tell them that they're wrong, the more of a stance that they're going to take on it. I myself am opinionated on Facebook and will go after people and just kind of like, I will lay out why they are wrong and why I am right. And I will have all the facts there, but they have no interest in changing their minds, and doing that publicly only makes them stand their ground even more.
Oh, for sure.
So Benjamin Franklin, he had a thing where he said that he would never tell anybody that they were wrong. He would say, well, it's been my experience this, or I have seen situations where this. Now your situation might work and be right if this was the scenario. However, since this is not the scenario, this is the scenario, and he'd leave it alone. He wouldn't like bring it back, but he'd like okay, if this was the scenario, then yes, this would work. However, this is the scenario, and then he'd just move on. And I really liked how he kind of laid it out, that he wouldn't go down that path. It's something I'm going to start trying. I don't know how successful I'll be, but I will start trying not to tell people that they're wrong and dump dipshits and just kind of like see what I can do to just win friends and influence people.
I think what I need to do is ask myself, what is my intention on the Facebook? Do I want to connect with people, or do I just want to go be right?
This is why when I make a post, I kind of like, it's a controversial post. Usually I'll do both ends of the spectrum and see where people land, because I think it's interesting to see how people reply. And it's funny because if people assume I have one stance or the other, they always assume I'm like one end or the other. And I'm always like, I'm just throwing crap out there. Just
answer.
I just want to see what you have to say.
She takes the grenade and she throws it and runs the other way. And everybody's also like, yeah.
No, I don't run. I observe. I watch and see what happens. I want to see the carnage, because people just start. But it's interesting because it shows people's real colors. Like, you can see who they are by the way they reply.
Right.
So, and I also
think
I've seen you do it, but I also think too, I'm like, am I really that way in real life, or is this just my Facebook persona? Like, I think I'm far more passive in person, like so much more passive, where I like generally I'm like, I'm just not even going to go there with you. Like, I don't totally care.
I think it's so much easier to be online and then just like lash out or something, because you're kind of hidden behind the screen. I know so many people like that.
Yeah.
That's why they call it fake book or Insta scam, or twat water instead of Twitter.
SJWs.
So it's just, it becomes this like place where you can just safely sit behind a screen and type out something nasty and then just let it go.
But then there's Reddit.
You never say that.
This is what I don't get. Like, Reddit is completely anonymous, and I find the people of Reddit to be so nice. And I'm like, but then when we're like representing ourselves, like I don't.
That's funny, because I've read so many Reddit threads where they're just like trashing each other. So
maybe I'm only in nice groups and they're supportive.
When it says like the nice group for Reddit and then like really nice people Reddit, like, yeah, that's probably why. Yeah.
No, I really like that, Brent. People will always show you who they are if you let them. Yeah, that is.
That is true. Yeah, I do learn, people's perspectives. Just give them enough time. Yeah.
Well, that's why when you start dating somebody, you give it up to 6 months. 6 months.
3 months. 3 months.
3 months? Okay, yeah. Yeah, they will put on a mask and they will put on a song and dance for the first 3 months. And after that, they just get tired and they go back to who they really are. By then, the mask comes off and you see how thin the veil was.
That's why it's so interesting to me when I see on these Facebook groups so many people being fake. Like, guys, don't you know, like, if you land a girl by being fake like that, eventually that's going to come out as fake. And then she's going to look at you like, oh, well, crap. You're not the guy I thought you were. Like, why don't you just be yourself? And if they don't like you for that, they're clearly not the right person for you. Seems simple enough to me, but I don't know.
I just want to know how people can like not be the way that they are, because I'm always like, why are you this way? And how do you stop? Like if I could even pretend for a minute, it would probably help me. So like, I'd like to know how these people master not being who they are.
How do you know if a guy is fake? Oh man.
I think to me, it just seems fairly, maybe it's obvious to me because I'm a guy and I read these posts and I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. Like, shut up. You're so ridiculous. When they're like, oh gosh, what was one that I saw where it was like, I would love to take a fair maiden to the temple and these guys are so rude. And you're just like, oh, just jab me in the ear with a pencil now so I don't have to talk. It's nauseatingly like, just overbearing of like cheesiness. And stop
I'm on a Las Vegas group because I stayed there for a little bit, and when I go back, I want to be able to connect with people. Thank you. So somebody put up a thing where they said, I just need somebody that I can snuggle with, and then screw on the side. And so I need a snuggle screw. And then
Snuggle screw.
That's kind of funny. And down the list, I'm looking at the comments, and one of the guys is all like, hey. I'm like, really? They're talking about this and you're trying to flirt with them on their comments? And so I put up a GIF of a guy that was like really thirsty, and it said thirsty. And he's like, what, I can't be nice? And I was like, not when they're asking for a snuggle screw, buddy. But yeah, these guys that are coming out and they're like, okay, if I could just give you the world and an oyster, and then you can be mine. I'm like, dude, you need to calm down, slow your roll, and be a person. Just keep it simple.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. My favorite are just these guys who come out and they are like somehow going to protect the women. Yeah. These other guys.
The white knights.
They come to your rescue.
Lady. Yeah. Like, don't listen to them. Like, if you would give me the honor of your hand in marriage, I would be like your wonderful priesthood holder. And you're just like, oh, gag. Shut up. You're a dork. There's a reason you've never been married. And so
get off the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of those that come in to try to save the day. Like I said, I put up controversial topics. I think it's interesting to see where people land. And again, sometimes people assume I have a certain stance. And so they'll start making comments toward me that aren't very nice. And then some guy will kind of swoop in and be like, I'll save you, Celeste, and try to save me. I'm like, I'm fine. I could totally do this myself.
It's the knight in shining armor.
I think though that women will do this. I've seen women do the same thing too. They'll just be agreeable to like, oh yeah, no. And it's yeah, and I'm like, I call it pick me energy. Like
pick me energy.
Pick me, please pick me.
It is. It's like a pick me. Like, I'm so easygoing. I'm so cool. And I'm like, I am not. I am difficult. I am a brat. Like, I don't know. I make like any guy that dates me, they have to be a little insane. Like, so I think that I let people know that, like, I'm like, don't pick me, because unless you really are like willing to do some like work, or I don't know what it is about me, but I think that's
good. I think it's good that you're being upfront. Like, this is the crazy me. You take me for me, or don't even come around.
Yeah.
Like
what you see is what you get. That's what you need to have.
It's intense, and some guys really think it's fun. Like, there's a guy that I've been talking to, and he's like, I just love whatever energy it is that you have. And I'm like, it's insanity. This is called mental instability.
When you say the pick me energy, I just keep thinking of like Donkey jumping up like, oh, pick me. And it's like, is there anybody else? Me.
I agree.
Yeah, so these guys like on these groups are just, I guess I don't notice it from the girls, but I
Oh,
don't really know.
they do it.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
See, that's where I'm talking about. Like, to you guys, you probably notice that more. For us, from the guys, we probably notice it more. Like, okay, these guys, like, look, just go back in your basement. Your mom will call you up when dinner's ready, and then you can get back out there with your friends and do the yeah, the scene. Yep. That's them in the group. So, yeah. I think it's funny, and I genuinely feel sorry for some of these guys, because I'm like, I don't know where the social skill like class was taught, but clearly you didn't take it. And especially what gets me, we've talked about this a million times, is people who have been married before.
They've been married.
Like, you have kids. You procreated somehow.
And
how did that happen?
These are the guys that have to teach their kids how to be adults.
Yeah.
But granted, like, think back, like, I got married super young. I was like 22, 21, and I didn't know a lot then that I know now. So you think about, like, yes, these guys got married to women who, like, also were young and didn't know, right? Like, I think that it's more apparent now than it was, you know, in our 20s or 18 or whatever.
So do you think like everybody was just so hormonal that they're like, I don't even care that you can't like hold a conversation with the opposite sex. Let's just get married because we want to screw and have kids.
I think
just that hormonal that they just overlook it all.
No, I don't think. No, they. This is how they grew up. This was a thing that was put into their head every single Sunday for 18 years. And then finally they get into a position with like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. Okay.
Well, and I also think, so, and not to like hate on LDS dating patterns, but I think, I mean, you're kind of taught as a young woman, like they're a return missionary, and like the checklist, I don't think any of it was like, how are they socially? Like there's just a lot of things.
Yeah.
And especially when you are young and you have a very short courtship, because I think that like not having sex is this like number one, right? Like I think that it's kind of like, I will rush a marriage in order to not have sex with this person. Like and it's kind of like the damage caused by maybe having sex with a person versus marrying the wrong person. I kind of would pick one over the other. I'm not saying which one.
I think it's important that these type of topics come up in the home. I don't think it's a church's job to teach our children, but it's interesting because they do in lessons like to talk about things like that, right? And so I've had my daughter come home with some crazy things that she's been taught in class, and I've had to correct it, and I've told her many times, I'm like, Hannah, it's just sex. If you have sex, you can repent. I don't want you to have sex. I want you to do what you need to do to try to stay clean. But if it happens, it happens. Don't be marrying the wrong guy so you can have sex. Like, it's just like, keep it in perspective. Like, of course, I still teach her gospel standards. She went on a mission. She's a good girl, but you just have to be real. And sometimes in those classes, they just aren't real. They're just like, they cause fear. They kind of scare them into like following the commandments or whatever. So not good.
But then you see it again, even in second and third marriages in these groups where it's like kind of, kind of crazy. But that's really cool that you tell your daughter, like.
I just keep it real. I don't know. My mom didn't say anything to me about anything. And so I was blind on a lot of stuff. And so from the very beginning, we've been very open with sex. My daughter's very comfortable with talking about everything, probably too comfortable. I'm like, I cannot believe she's asking me this. Like, it's embarrassing, but it's good for her. Like, she doesn't have to go to her friends or wherever to get answers. She knows she can come to me, and she's a good girl. I mean, she's made a few mistakes here and there, but haven't we all as teenagers? But overall, she's doing great. She's doing really well. And it's because she knows she has a choice. She doesn't have to, make it, be married by 21 or whatever. Like, she has a plan. So we'll see how it goes. But if she has sex, she has sex. I mean, that's just kind of what it is.
I kind of tell my daughter, the same thing about like, I'm like, hey, look, you're going to mess up. Like, you're going to make these mistakes. And I think this is more of a conversation that should be had. It's not like, don't make this mistake. It's like, you're going to make these mistakes. And when you do, not if, this is where you turn and this is how you handle it. And that's kind of my.
Yes, just don't kill yourself. That's what my mom told me. That was the only sex advice. If you get pregnant, Celeste, don't kill yourself. That's all she told me. That was it.
Legitimately what she said.
She did, but she worked in the ER. She saw a lot of girls come in that tried to commit suicide because they found out they were pregnant. But literally, she was like, just don't kill yourself. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, but how would I get pregnant? Like, I had no idea, like, what was like any of it. But she was like, okay, if you get pregnant, just don't kill yourself.
I remember I was in
Okay.
fourth grade, third grade, fourth grade, when they have that, when they teach you that thing at school. And I remember that we got separated. Now, I was never really a good student. I went to school for the social aspect, and I just remember that we got separated. All the boys were in one class. I'm like, whatever, and I'm just kind of chatting it up with my friends, and they had stuff up on the wall, and they were telling stuff on the projector, and they were drawing pictures, and we got done with it, and I didn't learn anything. So I walk out, and all of a sudden, like, the girls are walking by, they're like, have fun with your wet dreams. And I'm like, I don't even know what the hell a wet dream is, but all right, whatever. So I go ahead and I get home, and my mom's standing there at the sink, and she turns to me and she's like, I understand that you guys had special classes today. And I'm like, yeah, I guess we did. And I was in a class full of guys, and she's like, you learned about sex today. Is there any questions that you want to ask? I was like, no, ma'am, not from you.
Yeah, not from you. My friend.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I give a lot of sex advice. I mean, topic. I talk to my son. He's 14. He talks to me about sex too. I mean, I don't know. We're just open.
We never had that. My mom and I never had that. I mean, I had a hard time saying sex when I was a kid. I would always spell it out. I mean,
SEX.
We. Yeah, I would.
Just to spell that one out too.
Yeah.
I literally never talked with my parents about sex. I don't think a single time.
I walked in on my parents having sex.
Oh,
I would have liked.
That's education.
would like that ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I would have. No. There are some things like I just wasn't close to my parents in that sort of a way. Like we didn't have they just kind of worked and we sort of did our own thing, and that was kind of it. So it wasn't like I had these deep conversations like, Mom, what's a vagina for? You know? Oh my gosh, I would have died. If they would have brought that up, I would have like literally ran out of the room.
Well, I think that like for me, there was a lot of shame surrounding sex. Like, just that was kind of like the feel of sex.
That's like the church culture, right?
It is. Yeah, it was very like we don't talk about that. Like,
oh, you still get that way on those groups too.
We don't talk about it.
Oh,
they
in those
do.
groups.
Yeah.
That was what I really liked about what Celeste did with the groups, is that she actually just came out and be like, let's talk about sex. And it was just like,
it wasn't even about sex. It was
like,
about when do you talk about sex? We weren't like talking about sex, but when is okay to talk about sex? Because you can't go into a marriage without having talked about sex. I mean, that would be crazy.
I mean,
Totally
I don't
crazy.
know about the men you talk to, but they try to bring it up in the first conversation.
Some of them do, yes.
Some of them.
That's true. Are you singing, Nick?
Let's talk about sex.
Salt and pepper.
I make a lot of jokes about sex, so I think it like comes up because I'm like joking. But
we've had people on this podcast in the audience that get upset because we talk about sex on here.
Yeah.
Oh, we actually had one lady that came onto my podcast when Everett decided to have the what's Nick's sexual preferences.
That was fun. That was super fun.
Yeah, that was awesome. So
can I watch this? I would like to watch this.
It is.
yeah,
it's on
up
YouTube.
on YouTube right now.
Oh,
you can go check it out.
okay.
On the Side Side podcast. This is where your
the third
video
half.
is gonna be.
I mean, the third part.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the very end. So the lady like sent me a message, was like, well, this sounded like a great idea. Everything was great. And then you took something so pure and amazing and treated it so crass. And I was like, no, we didn't treat it crass. We actually talked about it. Yeah.
Talked about it.
Yeah.
She's like, so I'm not going to be involved. And I was like, all right, don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yep.
There was a
didn't think it was
quiz.
intense. Yeah, it was a quiz. It was just kind of like a, where does Nick stand? Would you want this or would you want that? It was a,
Oh,
you know, and
Would
so,
you
and then
rather
the
type
audience had to, the audience had to
And-
pick what they thought he would choose.
Yep. And then when we do it with
Lights
Everett,
on, lights off.
yeah,
You know?
when we do it with Everett, it's going to be more of a have you ever.
Oh no. We didn't want to do
That's nice.
It'll
That'll
be a
be
have
good.
you ever and a would you rather.
sounds like it's gonna be a boring night on that one.
Would you rather?
Yeah, right.
But
Threesome,
you're like,
midget.
I was
and-
raised by Catholic nuns and have lived in a convent, except for the brief moments I was married, and then that's it. Now I'm taking a vow of celibacy. That's how that one will like play out,
that sounds all right.
right?
Yeah, that quiz was intense, wasn't it, Diantha? That's right.
Yeah, I found.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, that's okay. I found some good would you rather questions online and kind of pulled them in. Was like, all right, let's give this a good go with Nick and see how it goes. So,
Oh, baptism by fire.
yeah.
Would
Yeah.
you rather? I missed
Like
that
Betty
one.
White, Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, it was a little
Oh, okay.
little bit of different
Yeah.
things. It
You
was
know
fun.
he picked Betty White. I know you picked Betty White.
Oh yeah, he picked Betty White. Yeah.
Absolutely. Golden
Yeah.
Globe.
That's funny.
So, but in the groups, I've noticed this on the LDS dating groups that people start talking about that, and then there's every time, inevitably, somebody's going to get offended and start kind of like shaming everybody. Like, this is not appropriate to do on a church group. And it's like, this is not an official church group. These are people who
Yeah.
have the church in common, but this is not a group like from the church. So,
Well, even on that, my post about let's talk about sex, there were a few people that were like, y'all are committing, like, what were they saying? They were pulled out of scripture and they were saying that
Blasphemy.
we were being adulterous because we were talking about sex. And so we've already had an affair or whatever in our head. I don't know.
oh
They
yeah,
pulled all
yeah.
these scriptures and I'm like, what?
No.
Where are you getting this from? It was anyway. It's just
Yeah,
crazy.
and then
They
some
just have
people are
weird
like, "I will
stances.
never discuss that until we're like engaged." Like, well, don't you?
Some of
kinda
them were
let
like,
me know?
that's like marriage talk. Some were
I'm,
like,
I'm sorry.
post-marriage.
The engagement is only like 3 weeks. You're gonna talk about sex the entire 3 weeks. Is that the idea?
There were some. They're like, I will not talk about that until after
Mhm.
I'm married.
But it's
Yep.
such a big part. I think, especially like, you know, like in psychology or therapy, I think sex is such a huge issue. Like actually, when I started marriage counseling with my ex-husband, they, you know, you kind of like fill out all this stuff, and when it said like, you know, how do you feel about your sex life, and we both were like, it's fine, like that's great. It was like the one part of our marriage we were satisfied with, and our therapist was like, that's really weird because usually that's like the one that's always an issue, and that's the only one that's not an issue for you guys. She's like, that's kind of weird. And so like, with that being such a big issue in marriage, why would you not talk about it going into it? Like,
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but people that are married,
communication.
not everybody's having sex.
No, there's like a lot of dead bedroom marriages.
No, but there's a lot of people that are not having sex that are so busy doing other stuff that it's not something that's on their mind 24/7. Now, us being single, we're not having sex and we don't really have the option of having sex. So that is one of the reasons why I feel that we put such an emphasis on it as single people. Here we are, it's like 12 o'clock in the morning right now. And if we were married, we would have been in bed at 9.
That is true.
I mean, I was in bed by 8:30. I remember when I met my ex, we were at the dance club. It was like 10:30 is when we would be going out of the house. We'd come back into the house at 2 a.m. We got married, and then all of a sudden it was like 8:30 and you're asleep. Ridiculous.
That was not exactly my marriage, but that's okay that that was yours.
I mean it. Yeah, you got your little midnight snack going on. I get it. No worries though. No,
No, I
nobody-
think the dream is
Like it.
you find somebody that you're sexually compatible with, and it all goes just according to your wildest fantasy, and you have this sweeping, wonderful sex, and you're in a marriage, and it's just gushing the whole time.
And
I
how are you
think-
supposed to know? How are you supposed to
Yeah.
know that you have a good sexually compatible partner without? Yeah, you got to kick the tires, right?
Yeah, there's no way to know unless, well, you don't have to try before you buy, but at least have the conversation, you know? I knew a girl who she got married. This was years ago. And I dated her for a little while. She came from just fresh off of a divorce. And the guy that she had married had a problem with spanking the monkey. So he did this so much and so frequently.
Masturbation, for those of you that didn't get that.
Jerking your gherkin. So
Punching the clown.
that's right.
Joking the chicken.
Flogging the noodle. So anyways, so this guy did it so much that he could not keep it up to consummate the marriage. And they were only married, I think, 9 months. It wasn't a full year. And she's like, you know, he would wake up some nights and be like, hey, can you clean the sheets in the morning? Because I kind of, you know, made a mess of the sheets. And she's like, that sucked. But that would have been something to talk about before you freaking get married. Like, well, so what are you kind of thinking? How do you think this is going to go down? Well, I kind of really like to jerk off. So maybe you can help me with that. Like, no, you know, I was thinking more like sex, not just like me pleasuring you. That kind of only goes so far. So, yeah. Anyways.
Probably should have come up, I think, at some point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know other couples who got married, and one couple in particular, they were going on 5 years, had never consummated the marriage because she believed that marriage was only to have children and procreate. And
Sex was only to have
Sex
children.
was only, yeah.
Of course, they were like in some serious counseling, but clearly the counselor hadn't convinced her yet to, you know, consummate the marriage. So,
Well, that's how I feel too.
Unbelievable.
I feel like there should only be sex for kids, and if you're not doing it for kids, you really need to keep the pee out of the bee, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm
Yeah.
done with kids. So
anybody now thinking of dating Nick, you know what you're getting into. You don't need to have that conversation. It's a done deal.
Shasta,
Hey, for every Jack, there's a Jill, Nick, and you'll find.
Shasta's like calling me out.
yes, she is.
Yeah. So, anyways, Nick has a little game for us, I think. That he wanted.
Nick.
Yeah.
I don't have a game. I just have the
Right.
wheel. I just have the wheel. Don't get too excited.
Is there? Are we gonna play Jackbox?
Oh,
We can do
Let's see
it.
what we got here.
How many people we got? We got a couple. Actually, that could be really fun.
Okay.
We can do quick.
So-
Put in our own things.
Do you need a dictionary for this? Maybe Urban Dictionary?
no, I don't think this one is going to be the same as what we put Nick through.
No, this is definitely not the same.
No, this is a kind of a little questionnaire sort of thing. And you spin the wheel, and each time you take the question out, and it just asks you a bunch of random questions. And I'm not sure which questions Nick has in here.
Oh God, see, what does it pick? The
I
one thing I said.
Oh,
Now, Nick,
politics.
you can't make a separate category. Like this is like the second part of a 2-part question, I think.
Okay. What's the first part?
I don't
What
know.
are you passionate about? I think if you look at it, it says, what are you passionate about? Politics, children's.
Yeah, you know what? I actually like, you know what, Cassie, I'm gonna run with you on that one. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring up Jackbox.
Oh, I don't know that we should play Jackbox.
Good. We'll bring up Jackbox. We'll bring up the Quiplash.
No, let's
We got the
not do
people in
that.
the audience.
I don't know these people. This is not a safe space.
Oh, what is it?
This is not a safe space.
Wrong one.
Can't be doing that.
No, Nick, I have to. Okay, wait. I have to like go into it. Like,
What's your safe word? Pineapple.
pineapple is not it. It's avocado.
Avocado. Wow.
I thought a safe word. Okay, we've talked about this in another group where it's just stop. Like, why can't stop be the safe word? Like, why would you need anything other than that?
I don't know. It's more fun to say avocado or pineapple or whatever you're gonna say.
In the moment, what I mean,
Stop sounds like so. Stop sounds harsh. Like what you've done is really wrong. But like pineapple sounds like okay. Look, I'm having fun, but I need to like kind of hit the brakes on this. It's just a softer way, I think.
I get okay. No, that's a good. That's actually a very good point. But I just think like cognitively in the moment, like if something's like painful to the point where like you have to like, I think just naturally, maybe I'm a disorganized thinker. I don't know that I would remember the word. Like it's like, what was it? I don't stop. Like
I don't know. Stop. So like if you're, let's say, for example, you're like fooling around in the bedroom when you're married or something, and you're like, okay, stop. Like that could mean like, stop, I'm done completely. Like she said, stop. So everything's,
okay.
you know, you say pineapple, that's like, all right, wait.
That was
Okay.
too much.
Yeah, too
okay.
much on that, or like, you know, back off a little bit or whatever. So
Whoa, what would work?
Whoa.
Oh, crap.
all right.
So it's pull up. I've never played Jackbox games. How do we do this, Nick?
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Gonna make our own. All right, so what we will do is we can open this up to the audience as well if you'd like. Okay, so audience members.
Is it an app? I can't remember.
Nope, it's not an
It's just a
app.
website.
You just go online?
You go to your internet setting. You go to your internet web browser and you put in jackbox.tv. And then you put in the code, which is AMKB.
Alrighty.
Very good. Now what's happening is if anybody else wants to get involved, there we go. Yep, we got some more people coming in. Remember, it's jackbox.tv.
Okay.
Just know I am horrible at this game. Just everyone, just know it front.
Okay.
I am not good at this.
Anybody else in the audience want to jump in on this?
I'm in. I'm Beavis.
All right, perfect.
It had it pre-filled in there, so I think that was from last time or whatever.
Okay, perfect. Now I know that we have 11 people watching. I'm sorry, 11 people in this all together. So we're not going to get everybody in this. Anybody that's not in this now, you can join in the audience later and still have a vote. So this is going to be the fun part. Kassie, go ahead and start us. What we're going to do now is we are going to make questions. Okay, so any questions that you want to know. Okay, so it could be like, you know, what do you do when a midget comes up on a unicycle with an orange? Okay, if you want to say, you know, what do you do if some guy just sends you a dick pic after sending you a DM? You know, what do you say to this or that?
That happened to me yesterday.
So go ahead and we're gonna just make up a bunch of different questions and then we will load this one. So Kassie, go ahead and
You want me to create a new episode or?
Yes,
Okay.
create a new episode.
Okay. What is the episode of our name?
This is gonna be Kassie.
Okay.
Yeah, this is your interview.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, so now everybody can add prompts, and you can add as many prompts as quickly as you'd like, or you can wait for everybody.
What is the prompt for?
These are the questions that you're going to be getting. So on your phone, you'll get 2 prompts that you have to answer. These are going to be the prompts we are going to write the prompts. So,
Oh.
very good. What do you say to a flasher? Okay, Cassie, we're ready.
Okay. So what do I do next?
I believe you need to save it on your side.
Oh, just hit done?
Yep, hit done.
Okay. And then publish or play?
Play.
Okay. We got disconnected.
Yep, and now we're playing Cassie. So now everybody needs to put in the new code, which is
Okay.
SSLI.
Sit back and relax. Okay.
And we do have room for one more person if somebody from the audience wants to jump in.
Where's Brent? We need some Brent in here.
In fact, we can have everybody come in and you can be in the audience on the game as well.
You're going to do what's in the chat.
Okay. Now, if everybody doesn't want to come in, that's, oh, there we go. Perfect. Go ahead and get started there, Cassie.
Why to sit back and relax makes me more, because that's what they say at the Spread 'em Doctor.
Spread 'em, doctor.
Okay. Press this button to cancel game. Start episodes menu.
Okay, everybody should get 2 prompts on their phone. We're going to answer it just like we normally do on a normal game.
Schmitty here. Welcome to Quiplash. Just checking. None of you have a heart condition, right? You'll be fine. And remember, anyone who wandered in late can use that room code to join the audience and affect the game. Here's round 1. You are about to see 2 prompts in your device. Type something hilarious or not for each one. Then everyone gets to decide if your answer is better than someone else's. Democracy at work.
How can we not hear that very well?
People who like your answer, and a bonus if you get more votes than your opponent.
I always imagine it's what it's like to be Nick without his hearing aids.
Nick, hold it up to your microphone so we can hear a little better. Not your hearing aid. Oh, there's only 2 questions.
Yeah, it's just 2. I know this one's different. It's just it's a new to me.
So we're gonna get 2 questions every single round, but everybody gets 2 questions. That's why we have to write so many prompts. And there is a certain time limit, Shasta. Good job.
But who are we waiting on? Brent?
Hit the stage.
Don't you feel like we should let everybody in the room talk though?
Okay.
No?
Don't make me
I don't know how this works. I need to watch these.
Okay, voting. Your favorite.
I feel like the little Smoky is a Nick. That's a Nick contribution.
Oh my goodness, I don't even know what to say here.
Oh, it's Everett. Okay.
Right down the middle.
Ooh, 50%.
Let
Next on the list. Vote on your devices.
Oh my goodness.
who would say that?
Oh dear. I didn't even answer.
Oh,
Great.
50% on that one too.
I was gonna say, I mean, if you got a guy, I mean, do they want a woman with long hair?
Ready, set, vote.
Oh,
There's still hope, Nick.
you know this was Nick's question. Asking for a friend.
Right.
I'll win it.
Next prompt is
Notice Nick picked no.
I know, huh?
put in your votes.
Ew.
Oh, this all depends on the date.
Yeah.
Both of these are disgusting. I think it's almost grosser to lick your thumb and then wipe it off. Like that's
I
like a
don't know.
grandma. Like, ugh.
This all depends on who the date is. I just have to throw that out there.
I totally do that to my kids sometimes. But I'm not dating my kids, of course, but
Right,
I feel like that's like a parent move.
right.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know why like the idea of licking food off of me is gross, but like licking and making out is okay. Why?
I'm just thinking of that guy that you went on with the small wiener, you know, would you really want to lick it off of him?
So no, so gross.
Ooh, wow.
Hey. West Virginia mountains, baby.
That's right.
Fine.
Oh, wait, what? I don't understand what.
You
I don't even know what happened.
It's voting time.
No, you can't
Oh.
say Netflix and chill because that's totally something different.
Having a show and chill, I mean, that sounds like a sexual thing. Netflix and sit is just more like you by yourself.
I thought the response should be like
Oh, whoops. I didn't
you
even
wind
answer.
down. Like
I think everybody's like, you know what, that's how I like to relax and take care
Yeah.
of it at the end of the day.
I thought that it should say fight with people on the internet, like cyberbully. Where was that option?
My daddy issues go dead. Flubby bunny.
What about like none of the above?
Not an option. Not an option.
We're guys. We don't want any of them.
What would be your preference?
To have or to go after? Go after neither. My preference would be to stay far away from both. That's my preference.
To have.
Oh. I guess I kind of got the dad bomb.
Hey, well done,
Whoa.
Brent.
How did I get 500? I thought I was on like the winning one each time on those.
No, you were sucking on that one, so
Wait, I don't get it. So it's not which ones you like cast your vote on. It's which ones that people vote on that are yours, right? Ah, I see. Okay.
you want your answer to be unique and fun. That way, people want to vote on it.
Running out. Use a safety clip if you need it.
Come on, Brent. Brent.
Let's start this show. First one.
Diane.
Okay, pick your favorite clip now.
See, this is the thing. If a guy does not have self-confidence when he gets roasted, he doesn't know what to think.
You're talking about those guys who have like no social skills on the LDS dating site. They get like
Yeah.
all butt hurt.
Yes.
If I'm roasting you, I like you.
Yes.
That's how you flirt.
And guys grab hair, girls first.
You little guy. Hey, little guy.
That way you can have a dinner and a show. Well played, Shasta.
Oh.
Bitty, bitty.
Next.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
I like that, Shannon. I like that. Population you. Something that, do you do the bend and snap?
bend and
Is that
Works every time. Oh, smiley and fun. Gay.
you gotta do the bend and snap?
Next one.
Nick does that. He bends over and like shows his butt like, hey, you interested? Shakes it.
I'm not putting out. That's what we all think.
First date, no sir. They gotta work for it. I always shave, just saying.
Is that yours, Celeste?
I'm just keeping it real.
Coming up next. Put in your votes.
I
Oh,
mean, it matters.
Wow, you got blown out.
all the girls. Nobody wants to date Rachel McAdams. Brent did though. Brent's with me on that one.
Vote now.
Oh, potential. Oh, I do love potential. Like that's my toxic trait. Is it bad that I really am having a hard time choosing? Oh, I didn't even vote.
I'm like totally want the tall model and it's not an option. So
I love how
where's the guy I want?
Yeah, that's so true.
Next,
All guys are tall to you. That I wish I wasn't tall.
How tall are you?
I am 5'7 3/4.
That's
So
not tall.
it apparently.
well, that's one way to go.
Oh, that's sorry.
Gosh.
Apparently, it's taller than a lot of men, or you know. You got your quiplash, Nick. There you go.
Boom.
round two's done. Let's see who's winning now.
All I have to say is that when you're asleep and your partner just happens to take care of you when you're asleep, it's beautiful.
Wow, Brent is crushing us. He's like 5 times or 4 times ahead of me right
Brent
now.
has like 100 points more than I do. I totally have a chance. Yeah, Diane's that we definitely need to play when you got like some mental power going on here. Brent knows.
A lot.
Oh my.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. This is not
Gotta
gonna
know my
be
audience.
appropriate in any way, shape, or form. "25 seconds.
Who's still thinking?
It was Nick.
Is it Nick?
Brace yourselves.
I really am clever. I am. It's just not right now.
Top 3 tips. Get out your gold, silver, and bronze medals now.
Oh.
Oh my. So you're gonna pick them in order of best, second best, and last. Good night, Christina. Thanks for coming out.
So what? We do this in order? What did you say? Number one's first?
You do your favorite, your second favorite, and your third. You got 5 seconds.
I don't know. All right.
Brace yourselves. Here come those medals. Bronze first.
The last, I like how we both went with the sequel.
I know, the sequel. We were
It
like,
seemed like a
this-
sequel type.
Yeah.
I beat Brent.
Great minds, great minds.
Same wavelength.
Wow.
But did I get enough points to beat Brent overall?
Did you
Did
get enough
anybody?
points to beat me? No,
I got
you did
enough
not.
points to be like nobody.
Oh,
Ooh.
no. I was gonna win.
Whoa.
Oh, what?
Nick pulls it out right at the last minute.
Oh,
I'm like almost celebrated. Dang.
oh man. I did
Uh,
get third place. That's pretty good for
Yeah.
me. I normally do not even get anywhere up there. So
It is not easy being me.
I won last night. Did I win last night? I don't remember. We didn't play Quiplash, actually, now that I remember.
We did play Quiplash. We played.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
I think you were, but you were kind of, you know.
I don't think we played Quiplash. We really did not play Quiplash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brent, suck it, Brent. Suck it.
That's funny. Great job, Brent. We'll give you.
Reminds me of Dave Chappelle when he's doing like, oh, you don't have an army, then you should just shut the up. Just shut the up.
I love.
Good times. All right, Kassie, thank you so much for coming out tonight. It was really fun.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. It was fun. It was interesting. So
Yeah.
now I'm gonna have to go watch all the other. I didn't know that they were on YouTube.
Some of them are.
So I'll have
We have a couple on YouTube up right now. We've got one for Mike Phillips. We got one for Kirk Meekum. We have mine. Yeah.
Is Annie's is up there too, right?
Oh, I'd love to watch Annie's.
You have not Melissa Jepson's, the other life coach that we had. What's her name?
Grant Anderson.
Elizabeth?
No, not Grant Anderton.
Elizabeth, right?
Elizabeth, yes.
Susie. Yeah, we have the second part of hers, but the first one that's on the hard drive that is not working. So.
Oh. You got to upload them all to YouTube. Just get them up there because you keep
everything's uploaded. It's just coming out. We're getting new releases out every Sunday and every Wednesday.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
So everybody, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you so much for getting involved. Without you guys, it's not as fun. It's still fun, but just not as fun. If you guys want to see this podcast, it will be released in December, and I can give you the date. This podcast will be released December 16th. So thank everybody again for coming out, and you guys have a great night.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Good night.